be infringing. At no point does the Horde condone bullying, harassing, or physical violence against the subjects discussed in this show. The Horde is protected under the Fair Use Act and free speech under the First Amendment. Welcome to the new age. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. At no point does the Horde condone bullying, harassing, or physical violence against the subjects discussed in this show. The Horde is protected under the Fair Use Act and free speech under the First Amendment. Welcome to the new age. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. At no point does the Horde condone bullying, harassing, or physical violence against the subjects discussed in this show. The Horde is protected under the Fair Use Act and free speech under the First Amendment. Welcome to the new age. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. At no point does the Horde condone bullying, harassing, or physical violence against the subjects discussed in this show. The Horde is protected under the Fair Use Act and free speech under the First Amendment. Welcome to the new age. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. At no point does the Horde condone bullying, harassing, or physical violence against the subjects discussed in this show. The Horde is protected under the Fair Use Act and free speech under the First Amendment. Welcome to the new age. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. At no point does the Horde condone bullying, harassing, or physical violence against the subjects discussed in this show. The Horde is protected under the Fair Use Act and free speech under the First Amendment. Welcome to the new age. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. At no point does the Horde condone bullying, harassing, or physical violence against the subjects discussed in this show. The Horde is protected under the Fair Use Act and free speech under the First Amendment. Welcome to the new age. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. At no point does the Horde condone bullying, harassing, or physical violence against the subjects discussed in this show. The Horde is protected under the Fair Use Act and free speech under the First Amendment. Welcome to the new age. Copyright disclaimer. Under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. At no point does the Horde condone bullying, harassing, or physical violence against the subjects discussed in this show. The Horde is protected under the Fair Use Act and free speech under the First Amendment. Welcome to the new age. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. At no point does the Horde condone bullying, harassing, or physical violence against the subjects discussed in this show. The Horde is protected under the Fair Use Act and free speech under the First Amendment. Welcome to the new age. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. At no point does the Horde condone bullying, harassing, or physical violence against the subjects discussed in this show. The Horde is protected under the Fair Use Act and free speech under the First Amendment. Welcome to the new age. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, education, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. At no point does the Horde condone bullying, harassing, or physical violence against the subjects discussed in this show. The Horde is protected under the Fair Use Act and free speech under the First Amendment. Welcome to the new age. Copyright disclaimer under Section 1.
Hey everybody, welcome to the show. Yes, there is a show today. I do apologize for that. But everything's fine. Everything's fine. Tonight on the show, it's me and Belial, and Luna is here as well. There's Belial. Sorry.
Hi there, hi there. Hi, Somerville.
Hey everybody. Hey Mom. And Luna is here as well. She's in the background. She's going to be quiet. I know she's going to pipe in, so if you hear a little voice, that will be Luna. And, yeah.
So today's episode is going to be on smooth criminals.
Exactly, smooth criminals. And we have some funny ones, we have some smart ones, and we have some
weird
really
ones.
Elaborate ones. Really elaborate. But we're going to start it off with this one. This one was sent to me by my friend Erin, and she was like, "You have to watch this." And I was like, "What the fuck is this?" So apparently, it's one of those crazy women, or men do it as well. But you always see the women, they didn't get their extra nugget, or they didn't get their drink fast enough, or they messed up the order, and they totally go insane at a McDonald's. Right? Yeah,
you see that, especially at night. Usually at night. Yes. I remember one time I was in a McDonald's at night, and the guy got the wrong, they put the wrong order on his burger. And he was making this whole scene. He was like, "Yeah, I want my right burger." And they make him the right burger. And they're about to throw away the other burger that he took a bite out of. He's like, "Oh, you don't throw that away." And then he just he said, "Give that to me." And he starts negotiating with the McDonald's person for a reduced price for the burger for the wrong order. And he starts eating that too.
I don't know. I mean, there's some nights, the once in a while I do get takeout or something. I do Uber Eats. And there's some nights, you know how Uber Eats works? Sometimes they deliver, sometimes they don't. They'll put the order through, and then your driver totally fucks off, and you get your money back, obviously. There's some nights that if I didn't get my Taco Bell that night, I would be very angry. I depended on that Taco Bell for my mental health. But I wouldn't act a fool like this. Do you get what I'm saying?
I get you.
There's a right way and a wrong way. And also, you guys got to remember, don't think of it as just a fast food place. It's not just a fast food place. These people bust their fucking ass. Have you guys actually sat there behind the scenes and saw what lunch looks like? Bet you haven't. Because if you did, you would have a little bit more respect to these people. But
you'd also probably not want to eat there. And you would want to leave immediately. Any actual real food. So we're going to start with this video, right?
Yeah, we're going to start with this video that was sent to me. This is a video that Erin sent to me, so shout out to Erin Glow. Please go Look up her podcast. She's everywhere. It's In the Know with Erin Glow. So credit goes to her on this. But most of the credit goes to the WFLA News Channel 8. Now, this officer, not just the video you're going to see of this woman freaking the fuck out because McDonald's, but this officer has some jokes. He has some jokes. And I think this is the highlight of the whole thing. So we're going to play some of it. And we hope you enjoy it. Mind you, this he makes it worthwhile. He really does. He's a performer. So let me, we are at 00, and I'm going to, are you ready? Do you, press play?
I'm ready.
Okay,
yep,
press play now.
I want to introduce you to Tiana Jones. She's 22. She's a pretty lady, but she was McMad.
McMad.
That's right.
That's strike
she
one.
She had ordered fish fillet, a Happy Meal with a chocolate shake, a sweet tea, and a Sprite. It was a special order. She ordered it online. So when she arrives at the McDonald's at 92 in Cumbie to pick up her order, they have it ready, but because it was a special order, they confused some things, and they asked her, pull up to window 3. We'll fix it for you really quick. Well, she got McMad.
McMad. Y'all.
And instead of pulling up at window 3, she parked and went inside, and she started having a conversation. I'll show you the video clip in just a minute. The whole event went on about 10 minutes. We've clipped it down to about 2. And the longer she talked, the madder she got. And in the process of all of this, she dialed 911. Did you hear what I said? She dialed 911.
He did. Oh, I'm pausing it. I'm pausing
Wait,
this.
what?
I'm pausing it. He talking like me. Did you hear what I say? She dialed. Do y'all believe that
So
shit?
she narked on herself, basically.
If you notice, most people in incidents like this, they do call 911. There was a Taco Bell incident years ago here, and they literally called 911. There was an incident in Florida where a woman who was, I'm not going to say what she was using, but it was a crystal, went to a cop and was like, that guy over there, he gave me fake crystal. And, you know, and when I'm like, are you stupid criminals? Stupid fucking criminals.
Also, I noticed this was in Florida, so of course it's in Florida.
It is in Florida. Oh, yeah. I see. I thought it was L.A. for some reason because it said L.A. at the end. But yeah, it's Florida. Wow. But this police officer, sheriff, whoever, he got some jokes. He got some jokes. There's a little ghetto to him. And I kind of like it. Like, I'm gonna, well, no, I can't rewind it. But he's just like, call 911. Did you hear that? Like, he said it in such a way, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. All right, so let's...
So he's throwing some shade right now. All right, 1 minute and 15 seconds. Pressing play.
Complained about her order at McDonald's. So things went from bad to worse, and she got to knocking stuff off of the counter. Then she went behind the counter, and you'll see it, and grabbed the cups and started throwing them around. Her sister tried to get her out of the McDonald's. She wouldn't do that. Instead, she continued on her rant and her rage. You know, I don't know what was wrong with her that night. I don't know if she was like 2 fries short of a Happy Meal.
The jokes!
Or maybe it was she was short of the Happy Meal completely. But she created a McMess.
He's on a roll.
She acted like a McNut. But you know what she ended up? A McBurglar. That's right.
I can't.
Do you realize
I can't.
when she went behind that counter, continued to engage and hit the employees with stuff, she committed a burglary and an assault, which is a first-degree felony.
Yes, it is.
Now, she has gone from only having 2 charges for no driver's license and a failure to appear, 3 misdemeanors, to now she has outstanding felony charges.
Pausing it real quick. Pausing it. So, I just want to know the mentality of this. I don't know about y'all, but I hung around with sketchy people before. I have, in my teen years. Very sketchy people.
Yeah.
when they were quote unquote hiding, or they were, they had to be good, probation, all this other stuff, paroles, all this. All right. They didn't make a scene. They would stay home. They would be clean, so to speak. But this stupid had all this going on, went to McDonald's of all places and acted a fool, knowing that, she was fully aware.
But this is Florida, so it's kind of to be expected.
I know. I mean, you're right. It's fucking Florida.
Like you hear like the craziest fucking stories in Florida. I swear.
Wasn't the bath salt guy eating the face in Florida?
Maybe. Maybe. I would believe it. And then Somerville says, lots of laughs. I heard about that. Dumb asshole. And she said, she's spoiled brat, Tom. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, she definitely thinks that she's above the law. And there is people everywhere across this country who think that they're above the law, that they're just. I do feel bad for her sibling, because I know for damn well. First off, I know my siblings wouldn't act a fool like this. But I do know my siblings have an anger. And I know for damn well there's nothing I can do to stop them. I would be the brother in the background just shaking his head. I'm like, I can't do it. You can't do anything about it. What do you think I'm going to do? I'm not going to get hurt in the process.
It's just very, very weird that she just went fucking nuts like that, but I don't know. Yeah, she definitely is crazy.
They fucked up her order. But this police officer, whoever he is, I know his name is in the video, he is just with the jokes. And he has like a little sarcasm too. Like, do you believe how stupid this... Like, he really wants to say, do you believe how stupid this woman is? But he can't say it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know why she didn't just say, can you fulfill my order now? I'm here. I'll wait like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It's fast food.
Exactly.
Maybe that's too logical for a person who basically decided to, like, destroy the place and do some other activities outside the place, which I will not spoil it for others.
I mean, Blau, you've been with me when McDonald's have messed up my order.
Yeah, I know. You were on that stream where you stole from that poor kid. No, I'm joking.
Yeah, well, no, I did feel horrible for it because they gave me like a Happy Meal and another meal, and I'm like, I felt bad about it. I didn't feel angry about it. I felt like, oh my god.
Why would you be angry if you got free food?
Well, see, that's the thing. It's still food. I think the only thing that I was a little upset about is that this person, it came with a receipt. This is my story, not the article. I paid more for mine than this, like, because I got more. And this particular person didn't have, it irked me, but I was like, you know what, it's done. And you know what I did? I told Uber Eats about it, and I took pictures, because they require pictures, obviously. They were like, you keep the meal. They sent me an email, sent me my money back, and gave me a discount. That's how you do it. That's all. So you even
got more money back.
Exactly. And then I got the coupon and stuff. That's all you do. You just gotta act right.
Yeah, I think you should have just went there and smashed up the McDonald's. That would have been more interesting.
It would have been, but then I wouldn't be here now.
Yeah, you could do it. We're doing our podcast in jail. I'm using a cell phone I smuggled in. And
you don't want to know how I smuggled it in.
Yeah.
But, yeah. I mean, I've seen people in jail, in prison, doing TikTok videos. It can be done, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. So let's continue.
Okay, I'm at 2 minutes and 39 seconds.
All right, I'm ready.
Pressing play now.
Not in custody. Her mom and sister cooperated with us. And at the end of the day, you can't believe it. On the way out of the store, after she had already announced to everybody she was 5 months pregnant, she pulled her stomach, her shirt up to show everybody her stomach, and then twerked her way out of the store.
Y'all heard that?
You can't make this up. This is going to be McInteresting. Look right here.
The jokes. Watch, y'all. Watch. Ratchet. That's all I gotta say is ratchet.
I'll narrate it.
He's gonna narrate it for us.
So here she comes, because her order is not correct. She starts calm.
Stop it for a moment.
Gets a little more animated.
Pausing it, yes.
Yeah, I'm just...
She pregnant.
Yeah.
fucking pregnant. I'm gonna say it, y'all, right now. If this was a place that had security, they would not know that she was pregnant. I'm just saying, because she does not look pregnant on my end. She, like, in the video, she don't look pregnant. She could have put her kid in danger. Period.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
And instead, she twerked. She fucking... pregnancy doesn't justify bad... Exactly! I hate people who use excuses like that. I'm pregnant. I have a mental illness. No, stop. Don't use things like that as a clutch. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Don't put yourself in stupid situations. You know, like...
Anywho, what are you at?
I'm at 3 minutes and 29 seconds.
Alright, I'm ready.
Okay, pressing play now.
Yep.
I mean, she is calm. I don't know what was said for her to go crazy. Oh, no, I see her going crazy now. I know, she's Latina.
She's getting mad.
The cop. When the hands start flying, that's when y'all need to back the fuck off.
Yeah.
Now they are trying to redo her meal, give her money back.
Wow.
Practicing big-time customer service to no avail.
She could have walked away with a free
And
meal.
zero attention. Well, here comes the 911 call, we believe. She might have also called her family in the midst of all.
Wait, stop
We
it.
have a lot
Pausing. So not only was McDonald's...
She called 911 because she got her order wrong?
Hey, I know stupider people who call 911 for... Believe me. We're not going to get to it, but yeah.
911? What's the emergency? McDonald's has got my order wrong.
Yeah, like, what? Like, I hate people who abuse 911. It's not an emergency. 911 is for an emergency. You don't call it asking questions. You don't call it for that. You call it for an emergency. You want to talk to a police officer and ask questions about such and such, then you call your police department. Those numbers are public. Don't be lazy and call 911.
Yeah.
Abuse their time.
Somerville says pregnancy doesn't justify bad behavior. I wouldn't blame pregnancy on this one. This is crazy. This is like, this lady was offered her redo her order and a refund.
Free.
So she was given an opportunity to get free food, and then she decided to call the cops saying they got my order wrong and they want to give me free food, and then she starts going crazy, and I don't understand this whole thought process. It just makes no sense.
And before anybody says anything, this isn't hormones. Let's not go back 50 years. This is not hormones or anything. Maybe that's why she was saying she was pregnant. And she's like, look, I'm pregnant. Hormones.
Yeah, well, that's just an excuse. That's just an excuse.
Exactly. Like, why would you do... No.
Alright, let's continue the video. I just thought it was weird that she called cops for a wrong order.
911.
Yeah, let's continue.
Okay, 4 minutes, 18 seconds. Pressing play now.
But on a 911 call, you'll be able to hear it when we give it to the news media. There she goes assaulting him.
Yep.
She is not happy. But you won't be able to play it on the evening news. Now she comes behind. Look at this. She's out of control. That's her sister.
Poor thing.
Her sister's trying to calm her down. That's not working too well.
She's beating up on her sister.
Smart.
Dialed in.
Her sister's like, look, you got warrants out, bitch. You need to calm the fuck down.
You're gonna call the cops for the wrong order? Get the fuck out of here.
Again, this would be the second time, isn't it? Even her sister's like, you're being stupid right now. Calm the fuck down.
Now, understand, we've cut this from 10 minutes to 2 minutes. There's a whole lot of other drama here. Now, she pulls her shirt up. There you go. There's a little twerk on the way out the door.
Oh, good lord.
What?
The
See
ratchet.
y'all later.
Ratchet.
Stop that.
Leaves.
Pausing.
Stop. What's that to prove that she's twerking? I don't understand the mentality of like her twerking, how that owns the store people. Maybe you're the one that's street smart. Explain to me what that is supposed to mean.
I will say this. Something was said. We don't know what was said. You know, I'm not saying a woman or even a Latina that they can get provoked. Maybe I don't know what was said. There's no audio. We don't know what was said, what the person behind the counter was saying, but it seems like they were doing their job. I don't know, but something resurrected the ghetto-ness in her, and she just went wild. And you know what? It's something I would probably see. I've seen people do something very violent and, aggressive, and then they're laughing about it like they're a nut, and they walk out and they do stupid shit because they think they got away with it. They think they,
So Somerville thinks it's because it's like saying "kiss my ass."
It could be a thing of that, but the thing is, though, why would you, I don't know.
Maybe I'm just too logical where I would be like, okay, free food, thank you very much. I'd be very nice to them. I'd be like, thank you for the free food. And I would just get I would wait 10 minutes, I would get my free food, I would leave.
It would be fresh, too. It would be fresh, too.
Yeah, and I would just leave, and I would just be like, thank you, best that these people are forced to clean up.
Exactly.
These people are getting paid $9 an hour.
Exactly.
And they don't even have full time, so they don't have benefits.
And then they live in Florida. I mean, that's a big downer.
Well, the problem is that Florida real estate's jumping up, and a lot of people are not able to get real estate. So, so they don't even have money for a down payment for a house. So they're living in motels now, and motels are like $800 a month. So they can't even. So I mean, if you're making $9 an hour and you only get part time work, you're living paycheck to paycheck. So that's the situation.
Yeah, so they don't need this shit. They really don't. Have I seen people act a fool at McDonald's or at fast food? Yes, obviously. Yeah. I just don't understand the twerking other than she just felt ratchet. She just had a moment. And I know is that, when people get when women, I'm not saying this as a mean thing at all, but I'm just saying if you around here, when women get to a certain point, they pissed off, they can do stupid shit. Men do the exact same thing too, don't get me wrong. Back in the day, I would do stupid shit too, but this, she put her baby in danger. I believe she put her baby in danger.
I don't know.
A Happy Meal.
Yeah, well, let's continue the video.
Okay, 5 minutes and 28 seconds, and pressing play now.
We need to find her. She's running. She's hiding.
She's on the run, y'all.
She didn't get her Happy Meal or her fish sandwich or her chocolate shake or her sweet tea, but she managed to get herself into a lot of McTrouble. Now, I want to tell Tiana, when she comes to jail, we don't have any McDonald's. That's right. And we're not going to give her any golden arches, but we are going to give her a pair of silver handcuffs. And then when she eats, there are no
y'all
wonderful
know what prison
chocolate
food is. That's a whole other video.
milkshakes.
Y'all don't even know.
No sweet tea, and no Sprite.
You get mystery meat and slop.
We'll have this for y'all. Help us locate her. Call Crime Stoppers, 1-800-226-TIPS, and you can make money just by helping us find this lady who went McCrazy for no McReason.
This cop, man.
She had paid. They offered to give her money back. That didn't satisfy her. She was just out of control. Now, why did she do this? We don't know. But we're going to ask her just as soon as we arrest her, and we're going to do that sooner rather than later.
I wonder if
with
they
your
found
help.
her by now. It's been 3 days.
She is from Lakeland. Her mother was in the parking lot. Her sister was in the parking lot. Her mother and sister were totally cooperative. They were mortified about the entire event. And at the end of the day, Tiana is going to be in a lot of trouble.
Can you explain, Sheriff, what elevated this from just saying customer retention breakdown and some criminal?
Sure. First off, when burglary is not just breaking into a place, it's remaining after you're asked to leave and committing a crime. So she went from the customer area to the private area to the employee area. There's pieces of this you don't see where she hit the employees with the cups and with other items as she was going through her tantrum. And once again, the whole event's about 10
I'm going to pause it real quick. in this clip right here, I can see, like, maybe I'm just programmed. I don't know. But, like, I knew before anybody at that McDonald's knew she was about to come off. She was about to throw hands. Like, I knew it. When I saw this video, I was like, y'all, y'all don't know social cues. Like, you don't, I guess, I don't know if it's just me and I've been around a lot of this, but when those hands started on the table, I was like, yeah, you're not coming back from this.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, I have
So-
pissed off a lot of women. Amen. And I survived them all. I know when women be pissed. But I don't understand. This is the thing. This wasn't justifiable for what... Do you get what I'm... They messed up your order. They were going to give you your money back. You're going to get a free order.
Yeah, but it looked like she just got angrier and angrier and angrier, and then she just basically exploded. And then, like, she just was not calming down at all.
There's no reason to be violent. You do not step into their boundaries. You know, behind the counter. You do not get behind the counter.
I kind of like imagine you're a sheriff and you have to do a press conference because someone basically called 911 on themselves because they didn't get the order right, and then just started throwing a tiff and getting angry, like all the most important things you can think of, and now you're doing a press conference for a lady that assaulted a McDonald's worker and because her order was wrong. That's just like fucking crazy to me.
And she's on the run. Like, I don't know. This was 3 days ago, mind y'all.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they have caught her. I don't know anything like that, but she's on the McRun.
Yeah. But it is what it is. But
It is.
what it is.
But this is basically the sum of it. We don't need to, like, watch the rest of it. It's just them
No.
asking questions and stuff. But we thought it was kind of funny, not only because of the incident itself, but how this sheriff, what's his name? Grady Judd is his name, and how he presents it. Like, he kind of makes it funny, even though the jokes are kind of lame, but he kind of makes it a joke on her as well, and maybe that's what she needs to be knocked down a peg, because clearly with the twerking and stuff, she thinks she can get away with it, hence her being on the run, which is the stupidest thing to do. You commit a crime or do anything, don't go on the run. What do you we don't do that. You're just asking for even more time. You don't want to have your baby in jail.
Yeah, I'm just surprised they didn't find her with her order. Her order should have her address and everything, shouldn't it? If she ordered from Uber or something.
They said they talked to the mother and the sister outside in the parking lot when the cops came. How did she flee? Did she take the car and left them there? Like, what was going on? I mean, honestly, if it was my sibling and it was me and my mom and my sibling was acting like a fool, I wouldn't care to be stranded. I'd be like, go, I don't want to be with you. You just created a crime. Go, bye.
Yeah, well, that's be smart.
Yeah, so I don't know what the situation is there, but she fled. And I don't know, I doubt it was on foot, because she's driving without a license, apparently.
Yeah. But anyway, so anything else you have in this?
No, I just thought this was fucking hilarious on how this guy does, and he has a lot of other videos as well through the WFLA News Channel 8, and he does do like a presentation of things. You can tell that this man's like a little bit of an actor. He wants you to be involved. Normally when you see presentations like this, you don't see jokes, you don't see visuals. He's actually really good, even though his jokes were really lame. It caught my attention. I watched it, and other people I would just skim by it and be like, whatever, I don't want to,
Yeah.
But it was funny. It was funny. But do you want to introduce the next video while I set it up?
All right, the next video we're going to do is the Roof Man.
Yes, we are. It's loading up right now. And again, if you're in Florida and you see this woman,
yeah, this is another
Florida. In certain states when he left.
Yes, if you're in Florida and you see this woman, do not engage. Call the cops.
Yeah, exactly.
He made it very clear that there is a reward, so if you can make money, go to Crime Stoppers, and But,
why not?
But yeah, do you want to explain a little bit of this Roof Man criminal?
Well, the Roof Man is basically the guy was used to go and kind of come from the roof of the McDonald's and come down and basically rob McDonald's. And he used to be very nice to the people. They was, the workers there used to be like, oh, you want to get your coat and everything? And then he would rob them. And this guy has a career history of huge crimes, like basically like McDonald's, escaping prison, living in a Toys R Us, living in another area, another Circuit City. I mean, like, it's pretty amazing criminal history this guy has. So I figured it would be an interesting one. So we can start playing it.
Yes. Let me see. I am at 0-0, and felt more comfortable doing it that everything was still the same layout.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that's
So,
that's how I think.
Yeah.
But usually
So
when criminals get comfortable, they get sloppy, and it's a whole thing.
yeah, and maybe that's how he got caught. We won't find that out until a little bit later.
Yes.
But anyway, you can press play now.
6 minutes and 8 seconds. Pressing play now.
Key to the roofman's crimes was the routine. While most criminals would likely think twice about committing the same sort of crime over and over, Manchester knew that each McDonald's restaurant he hit would operate the same way and have the same basic floor plan. Things were always roughly in the same place, and the restaurants ran on almost identical schedules, allowing Manchester to hit them at their most vulnerable times, either while they were closing up for the night or while they were opening up first thing in the morning. That being said, not all of the roofman's crimes were perfect. During his very first attempt at robbing a McDonald's in Folsom, California, he cut a hole in the roof and dropped inside, only to discover that the restaurant was closed for the Thanksgiving holiday. Sometimes police would find tool marks on the exterior of locations where the roofman had obviously started a robbery but had needed to abandon his attempt for one reason or another. There were also a fair number of close calls with police. In one instance, Manchester needed to fire his gun at a door to make a last-second escape. In another, he reportedly jumped off a roof and over a fence before managing to get away on foot. The roofman would finally be identified and caught on May 20th, 2000, shortly after committing the early morning robbery at the Main Street McDonald's in Belmont, North Carolina, that we described at the beginning of the video. It turned out that Manchester had made two crucial mistakes. The first mistake was the result of hubris. The Main Street McDonald's was actually the second one that he had robbed that day. Just a few hours earlier, Manchester had robbed another McDonald's just 10 miles away, and authorities were more than familiar with the roofman's MO by this point. There was still a heavy police presence in the area at the time of the second robbery. Manchester's second mistake was not properly securing the cooler at the Belmont robbery. As a result, the employees managed to get out much quicker than he had anticipated and alerted police to the second crime. After being spotted heading towards a getaway car in a nearby church parking lot, police chased Manchester into the woods.
Stop it.
When they caught up to him a short
Pausing.
I want to read the comment. But McDonald's, why not someplace that has a bit more cash? Well, this is early 2000, so yeah, they carry a lot of cash because they don't close out until the end of the day. And back then, people used more cash. So if you're looking for a fast food joint, McDonald's would probably be good. I don't know if any other place that is a fast food that has more cash available. Maybe like a supermarket, but that's like a lot tougher to rob.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No. Yeah, McDonald's back then. We live in a digital age now.
Yeah.
And this was in the late 90s,
2000.
early 2000s.
Yeah, 2000.
Yeah, so there was a lot more cash. Everything now is digital through the car, through your phone, But yeah, there was a lot of cash that they have.
When did McDonald's start using? Just wondering.
Using what?
Like ATM. When did McDonald's start accepting
Electronic?
credit cards? Just seeing what year. 2002. So they were still using a lot of cash back then. So everything was cash. So imagine if you have like some McDonald's, you probably make like $10,000 or $5,000. I would say generally probably if he chose more like nighttime, like closing time. So let's just say a normal location maybe $2,000 to $3,000 in McDonald's maybe. So, and this is 2000, so rate of inflation. So I mean it's worth more money obviously.
Yeah.
So that's my thought about it.
Yeah.
And it's probably a lot safer than a convenience store because how many McDonald's workers are going to have a gun?
I mean, if this was to happen today, he would not be making a lot of money. Let's just
No,
say.
you make like no money, like
Yeah.
absolutely zero money, because everything's digital. But if you think about it, McDonald's and like franchise places are perfect. All the employees are told to just give up, don't do anything. All the employees don't have guns. They follow a routine, same floor plan, and it's all cash business basically back then. It's like the perfect location. You could rob. I don't even think like you, and you also probably robbed a Blockbuster too if he was at it.
I think
You
that's
know,
it.
maybe.
Yeah.
Why
Well, that's the
not?
thing. That's the thing. When it comes to chain franchises like McDonald's, Blockbuster, Burger King, Wendy's, so forth, it's basically the same building. No matter if you're in California to Massachusetts, it's the same building. It's the same routine. They're set up like uniformed. Do you get what I'm saying? The
Yeah,
only
yeah,
difference
basically.
between California and California and Massachusetts could be the items on the menu. That's it. Other than that, identical stores, identical type
Yeah,
of routine.
and he only got caught because he basically got too comfortable, like
Mhm.
Tony said, and basically got complacent and lazy, and that's basically what happened. And if he would have just kept to his same routine, he probably would have kept on trucking for another year or so. I mean, they would eventually have caught him. Every criminal is going to get eventually caught,
Oh yeah.
So it is what it is. So I guess we'll continue. What do you
Okay.
got?
I'm at 8 minutes and 32 seconds. You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, pressing play now.
Time later, he was still carrying his rifle, as well as a nylon bag containing drills, pry tools, hammers, and all of the cash he had stolen from the 2 McDonald's locations. True to his reputation, Manchester didn't put up a fight when cornered by officers, instead telling them, quote, "You guys did a really good job
Wow.
today." With Manchester's arrest came a flurry of news articles announcing that the notorious roofman had been identified and caught. According to these reports, investigators were eventually able to link him to crimes beyond just the 2 robberies in North Carolina by looking at his travel records with the military. It turned out that many of the roofman's robberies had
He was
stopped
still
in certain
active
states
in
when he
the-
left,
Okay.
charges ranging from robbery with a dangerous weapon to kidnapping, possession of burglary tools, and breaking and entering. While this initially appeared to be the end of the roofman, little did anyone know that his story was far from over. Following his conviction at the end of 2000, Jeffrey Manchester was sent to the Brown Creek Correctional Institution, a medium-security prison located in Anson County, North Carolina. For nearly the next 4 years, Manchester played the part of a model prisoner. A search of his inmate records lists 0 infractions during this time,
Wow.
and his good behavior earned him a position in the prison's metal shop. However, as much as the roofman gave the appearance of quietly serving his time, he had no intention of completing his full sentence. Instead, he had been using the same skills of observation that he had used to commit his robberies to find blind spots in the prison's security. This included familiarizing himself with the comings and goings of prisoners, the shifts and schedules of guards, and any vehicles that made their way in and out of the prison grounds. Finally, in the summer of 2004, he was ready to make his escape. The key to Manchester's plan was his job in the prison metal shop. Every day, a delivery truck would come inside the shop area to pick up the beds, lockers, and stainless steel kitchen items that were manufactured there before leaving the prison grounds.
I'm gonna
The truck
press pause
arrived
real quick.
on the same
Pressing
Yeah.
pause. Did I glaze over it? But how much time was he initially, like, he stayed there for 4 years, but how much time was he sentenced? Did they say?
40 years.
40 fucking years. Okay.
Yeah, he was sentenced. I think he was sentenced to 40 years because he had the kidnapping charge, the gun, the robberies. He like the kidnapping charge probably fucked him, and
Yeah.
I think didn't he do it like to like 140 fucking stores?
He did it to a lot.
Yeah, so they had to sentence his ass for everything,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. He probably had to go to all those states again. This must have been a long trial because he would have to go to each state for it, wouldn't he?
probably I don't know.
You
They
would
get
think,
to-
or if it's all McDonald's, maybe I don't know.
Yeah, but no, it was more than just McDonald's. It was like just
Yeah.
everything. I think he just preferred McDonald's because they just much easier for him to rob. So yeah, and then now he's in the metal shop. So I guess we'll continue.
Okay, yeah, sorry, I just wanted to know. So he was sentenced to 40 years. After 4 years, he started with the shenanigans again. Okay.
Yeah, I think it took him like 5 years to escape this prison.
Okay.
Spoiler alert: he escapes the prison. Like,
Oh, right. 11 minutes. Excuse me. 1 moment. 11 minutes and 6 seconds, and pressing play now.
Set schedule every time, and Manchester decided that this was his way out. After obtaining some measurements of the metal frame rails that ran underneath the delivery truck, Manchester cut a length of plywood so that it would fit snugly between the rails, creating a platform where he could lie. The idea was to ride on the vehicle as a hidden passenger until he was outside the prison walls, at which point he could go on the run. Because Manchester knew that the underside of the delivery truck would be checked by guards with mirrors, he spray-painted his plywood platform board black to match the underside of the vehicle. Some reports we came across also state that he completed the illusion with a couple of additional pieces of spray-painted cardboard, so that his head and feet couldn't be seen at either end. Finally, Manchester reportedly chose to execute his plan on a rainy day, meaning that guards were less likely to thoroughly check the underside of the delivery truck. On the afternoon of June 15th, 2004, Jeffrey Manchester put his plan into action and escaped from the Brown Creek Correctional Institution, making him the first person to do so in the facility's 11-year history. Once again, the Roofman was free. Though authorities suspected that Manchester might try to head back to his home state of California and possibly make contact with his family there, he instead traveled just 40 miles northwest to the city of Charlotte. It was here, at an unassuming retail plaza, that he would set up a living space that would baffle and amuse both the public and law enforcement officials for years to come. For his new home, the Roofman chose a Toys R Us store located in a complex called the Triangle Shopping Center, just off of Monroe Road. He hid out in a small cubbyhole area made for himself behind a bike rack in the store. The rack was conveniently located up against one of the store's walls, allowing him to do what he did best: cut and tunnel out more space for himself so that he could remain out of sight. For the first little while, Manchester only dared come out of his secret hideout at night when the Toys R Us was closed. However, being that he was in a toy store, he found plenty of things to occupy himself with. He raced remote control cars on the roof in the middle of the night, rode bikes around the store for exercise, and managed to get most of the nourishment that he needed by stealing and eating baby food.
stop it.
As funny as
Pausing.
Why would you eat baby food?
Well, back then, I remember Toys R Us. Back then, if it wasn't like, at the cash registers, they would have like tonic and like bags and chips and stuff. You can't sustain off of that, but baby food has a lot of vitamins. Even though it's baby food, it makes up for.
Right, but wouldn't you like buy food outside and bring it in? Why would you eat baby food?
Me, I don't see. That's the thing. He was able to go onto the roof, and he was able to bike around in the store. But was he able to actually leave the store?
Yeah, he was able to. Yeah, he was able to leave the store. He probably left it during the day and came back towards closing time.
Because they said that he stayed there all during the day, and he only came out at night.
Well, my guess is that he stayed. Maybe you're right, but he would have to. Maybe he was like on the. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he was like hiding out in this toy store, so the search would end.
Well, would you risk it? He already was cocky once. Do you think he would try to be cocky again?
Yeah, I mean.
And
also with the song and the backstory, I feel like this is like an origin villain story, like a Marvel origin villain story. Like I feel like it should be like a comic series for this guy, like the Roofman.
Right.
Like he should be like in a Spider-Man fucking comic at this point.
This man is definitely a criminal, but I am so thankful he was never a violent one. He's so smart.
I mean, like, he should definitely be a Marvel villain, because, like, Marvel has, like, they have the I think it's DC or Marvel, they have, like, something called Kite Man, where his whole goal is just to flop. Yeah, have Roofman, and they can battle each other, like, Roofman versus Kite Man, and they can do, like, an epic battle. It's a DC comic, yeah, his whole...
I say do it. I mean, the man is smart. I tried, when I was listening to this the first time, I was trying to imagine myself in a close quartered area, and mind you, this is like before smartphones, y'all. So it's not like he had a smartphone to keep him busy when he was hiding.
Yeah,
in
this
the
is
wall.
2002. This is
Yeah.
2002.
We
Like, no, this is
barely
actually
had
2000. Yeah, this is like, wait, this is 5 years. He got caught. So
dial-up.
maybe this is like 2005 or something.
Maybe 2005 too, but still we didn't have smartphones, and the only people who did have anything remotely like a smartphone, they were buku rich. This man had nothing except the clothes on his back, from my understanding.
Well, no one had phone. I don't even think the Buku Rich had a cell phone, right? Like that, they had like a flip phone.
When was it? 2000?
No, like wait a minute. Back
No,
then they had bricks.
2009. 2000. I think it was 2000. Between 2007 and 2000. Google it. When did smartphones come out? It was like between 2007 2009. Because my ex-girlfriend, when I was living in Canada, she had a smartphone, and I lived there 2000. I want to say 2009. 2008. Excuse me, 2008.
2007.
Yes.
The first smartphone came
So-
out, but that was like before that they had like bricks, like literally
Oh yeah, the
bricks.
Nokia bricks. You could use.
All right.
People still buy those phones, by the way. People love nostalgia. There's people who actually still get those phones, and they're still
Yeah.
fucking bricks. But okay.
Yeah. So let's continue the video.
Yes, 13 minutes and 48 seconds, and I will never live off of baby food. Pressing play now.
As this all may seem, the Roofman hadn't chosen a Toys R Us as his home simply for his own amusement. His real intention was to pull off a major robbery at the location. To this end, he decided that there was no better place to plan the heist than at the scene of the crime itself. As weeks passed, Manchester continually cased the store, establishing the routines of employees and security guards, looking for blind spots. To aid him in his scheme, he set up baby monitors so that he could watch things in the store remotely, and even began secretly changing the schedules of employees and security personnel to better align with his plans.
Oh wow.
However, like with the Roofman's previous criminal escapades, the longer he went without being caught, the bolder he became. Obviously unsatisfied by his constant diet of baby food, a couple of months after he escaped,
Right.
he was regularly eating lunch at a nearby Red Lobster
There you go,
and had
babe.
actively started getting involved in the local community. By October, Manchester had joined the Crossroads Presbyterian Church,
He's only
which was
40 minutes
conveniently
from the
located
prison, though.
just
Like,
a few
what?
hundred yards away from his Toys R Us hideout. He introduced himself as John Zorin, and soon became an active member of the congregation.
Oh,
He
wow.
even started dating a woman named Lee, who he had met at one of the church's singles events. Lee was attracted by John's generosity, sense of humor, and kindness, and was impressed that he wanted to spend so much time hanging out at her apartment playing games with her and her 3 kids.
So you had
Of
nowhere
course,
to live.
the truth was that their
Right?
dates could not have ended at his place, since he was living behind a bike rack at Toys R Us. When asked about why they never spent the night at his place, Manchester reportedly told Lee that he had a government job that he couldn't tell anyone about, and that his accommodations
Stop it.
were in a sterile...
Paused. Real quick, this is before. Do you remember? Do you?
Well, I just want to say this quick. Whenever a guy says, he's like, why can't we go to your place? And he says it's a government job, he's cheating on. He either has a wife, or he's a serial killer, or a serial criminal. Just I'm saying that.
Or he's homeless, or he really is homeless.
Homeless, yeah.
Yeah. No, but y'all remember this, right? Like, this was before. Like, now, I know Toys R Us are closed everywhere. I think there's only one left in this country, as far as I know.
Yeah.
But back then, Toys R Us and Babies R Us was one store. In the mid, like, 2010, when was it? It was like 2010 era. We got a Babies R Us, which is, you know, Toys R Us owns Babies R Us. And imagine if he didn't have that baby food at Toys R Us, because that's when all the baby stuff, like the infant stuff, you know, new cribs, new everything.
So he was like stealing toys from the toy store and donating it to kids in the church.
Do you think he was really nice, but he had a klepto problem?
I think he just went for what he considered easy money. I mean, like, that's
not-
probably it.
Yeah, he's not a psychopath. He's not like a Ted Bundy, because then there would be, with every robbery, there would be a slew of murders. But he has that kind of, so far, that Ted Bundy personality. He got along.
No,
with
he has
everybody, joined but he's not violent.
No, he has the type of personality where he goes for high adrenaline type of situations. Like this is like,
Adrenaline junkie.
yeah, maybe like, maybe in the old days he would have been like a soldier, fighting in a war. That's what he was. He was a soldier.
If he fucking held off for a year or two before the first initial robberies, he probably would have been sent in for an adrenaline rush because September 11th.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, that's how it is. He probably was just part of his thought process, like, oh yeah, I could do it. It's easy, that type of deal. Anywho, let me just check one moment.
Yeah.
Just checking. All right, continue the video.
Okay, I am at 15 minutes and 48 seconds.
Okay,
and
continue.
Pressing play now.
An uncomfortable office-type building. Though many might consider Lee gullible for believing this, it's important to point out that Manchester told this same story to everyone else that he came in contact with, and no one, especially those at the church, had any suspicions that John Zorin was anyone other than who he said he was. For his part, Manchester tried his best not to give them any reason to. He seldom failed to attend Wednesday night Bible study. He volunteered to get involved in the church's charitable work, and when the holiday season rolled around, no one donated more to the congregation's toy drive than he did. Of course, these toys were actually all stolen from the store where the roof man was hiding out. Speaking of the holiday season, as the Toys R Us store became increasingly more busy in the lead up to Christmas, Manchester decided to make improvements to his living quarters in order to remain undetected. It was during this time that he realized he could tunnel directly through the store's wall into the adjacent unit, which just so happened to be an abandoned Circuit City. This time, the roof man truly went all out on his new home. In a hidden area under a stairwell just on the other side of the wall inside the Circuit City, he created what can only be described as an 11-year-old boy's paradise. Though unfortunately, there are no pictures of Manchester's hideout that we could find, news reports describe it as a 4 by 10 foot sort of closet that had been painted to blend in with the wall. Inside, he decorated the space with posters, put up a mini basketball hoop, and brought in a DVD player. He also added more baby monitors to add to his makeshift surveillance system, and even installed a smoke detector and piped in water from the Toys R Us next door. Many reports would later amusingly point out that Manchester appeared to have something of an obsession with Spider-Man. Several Spider-Man posters were found on the walls of his hideout. A Spider-Man 2 DVD was found along with the DVD player, and Manchester was even sleeping on Spider-Man sheets. Nevertheless, by all accounts, this new hideout seems to have been much better than the first one behind the bike rack. In order to continue to travel between the Toys R Us and the Circuit City as he pleased, Manchester left the tunnel between the two units intact, similarly blending the trapdoors he had created in with the walls on both sides. As cunning as Manchester had been, however, at some point he must have become aware that he couldn't continue living like this forever. Employees at the Toys R Us were definitely aware that things were going missing, and Manchester had a couple of close calls when police were called to the store to investigate. On December 26th, he decided it was time to pull off the big robbery that he had been planning. Unfortunately for the roof man, when he tried to pull off the crime, things did not go according to plan. Similar to the 2000 robbery in Belmont, when he held up the Toys R Us, employees were able to contact police sooner than he anticipated. It turned out the two of them had managed to slip out during the robbery. Things went even further sideways when an off-duty sheriff's deputy arrived at the scene. Manchester responded by punching her, stealing her gun, and running.
Why did he not rob the Toys R Us at night? Did they just take the money at night? Like, he had full...
Well, normally stores, every store, no matter big or small, when it's closing time, they take all the money that's in the registers, all the money that's collected of the day, they put it in a sealed bag, and they do two things. They put it in the chest, in the safe, and they lock it up, and they take it to the bank in the morning. Or they do it right after work. In most places, you do it right after work.
Yeah, I mean, I
versus,
just
you know.
and also it's like this guy. Why did he not plan this robbery better? I feel like it wasn't his plan to rob this place. I feel like he just wanted to live in a toy store.
Yes, I
I
think he
I,
just wanted to get away, and this so happens to be the best solution.
I think he like said to himself, maybe I'll rob this place, and then he's like, I need to leave. I need to get some money before I leave. But I mean, I could just imagine this guy in a Marvel. So like, imagine if this guy would be a great DC villain. If you think of a Marvel DC villain, where he just like he's like Roof Man. He's fucking sleeping in pajamas, like Spider-Man pajamas. He's obsessed with
Yes.
Spider-Man. He'll be the like most hilarious DC fucking villain ever.
I'm not gonna fucking lie. Take his crimes away. Like, literally, take his crimes away. He sounds like a... I mean, I don't know what happened with him and his divorce. I have no idea, but he seems like a very... I don't know if he's a psychopath or... Because, you know...
He could be a psychopath because he's just basically,
I mean,
he's basically like an adrenaline run.
Yeah, but...
Hi, Frank.
Hey, Frank.
Hi, Sleuth.
Hey, Sleuth Mom.
You missed the first video we were talking about was the McDonald's woman that twerked and assaulted a McDonald's worker, and this is one where we're talking about Roof Man, a man who basically robbed 140 McDonald's, like maybe like 100 McDonald's, and basically did it from the roof, and then went to jail, escaped jail, and now was living in a Toys R Us while he's robbing the Toys R Us and going to church, and then he's like, we're up to that part. It's a little bit delayed because of YouTube, but you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, and right now we're at the part where he escaped from jail. He was sentenced to 40 years. After about 4 or 5 years, he made this elaborate plan to literally camouflage himself under a semi. And he got out, and then he went about... This is the crazy part, too, y'all. He's only 40 minutes away from the jail. That he escaped.
Yeah, he escaped 40 minutes from jail because everyone thought he was going to go back to California, but he started, and he just cut a hole in the back of a bike rack. He basically set up baby monitors to monitor the whole store, and then he proceeded to, you know.
He lived off baby food for a bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but we're seeing him get bolder as it goes. Like he's...
Night, Somerville.
No, night. Night, Mom. I'll see you later. But yeah, I mean, this is gonna sound crazy, but take everything aside, like all the robberies he's done, he sounds like a really nice guy. He like...
Well, if you're not the guy getting like pistol whipped by him.
Well, yeah, I mean, like take everything away. I'm even going. I'm pretty sure that was a panic attack, just like him punching this girl out. I mean, it's not right, mind you, it's not right. But he seemed like a nice guy. But then again, we have to remember, yeah, Ted Bundy and John Wayne Gacy sounded like nice people too until they got caught. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's a great idea to do baby monitors. I don't know why, but he just got like too complacent, you know. And then he also drilled a hole into the abandoned Circuit City, and he like basically had like, you know, both exits to go out of. Anyway, we'll continue the video.
Yes, 19 minutes and 18 seconds. And pressing play now.
Away. Amazingly, though the roof man seemed cornered, he managed to escape through his trapdoors undetected. It's unclear whether or not he returned to the hideout within the Circuit City, but what we do know is that when police conducted their initial search, they did not find him. While they discovered the trapdoor leading from the Toys R Us, as well as a whole bunch of stolen merchandise inside the ceiling of the Circuit City, the actual 4x10 room that Manchester had constructed remained hidden for several days. It wasn't until January 2nd, 2005, when an officer was conducting another routine inspection of the abandoned Circuit City, that Manchester's mind-blowing secret room was uncovered. Unfortunately for him, by this time, investigators were already fairly certain that the roof man was behind the Toys R Us robbery. This was due to the fact that the crime fit his MO, and happened fairly close to where he had escaped. When they distributed photos of Manchester in the local area, members of the Crossroads Presbyterian Church identified him as the man who had been going by the name John Zorin.
Pause.
This guy is a supervillain. He has a secret identity too.
Yeah, he
This guy is actually a supervillain.
Yeah, and it's just, It's insane. I never heard of this. Have y'all ever heard of this?
Yeah, this guy, let's think about it. He's kind of high intellect. He's got military training. He's got a name, the Roof Man. He's robbed multiple facilities. He escapes from jail. He's kind of like Arkham Knight, Batman's villains.
Yeah.
He's escaped. He has a lair, a secret lair with a secret trapdoor in like a store, and he has a personality where he's like a nice church-going person, even with a girlfriend where he says like,
Who has
like
three kids.
who has 3 kids. He
Yeah.
is a super villain.
He's a
This
little
guy is a
stupid though. He's a little stupid though because
he's like the red he's like the poor version of Batman.
yeah, like he's a Gotham villain. The thing is though, most people who escape prison, their end goal is to go to Mexico.
Yeah. Frank asked. Supam says minus the pistol, whipping. Most guys are afraid. And then Frank says, "Is Toys R Us still a thing in the U.S.?" I think they all went bankrupt. Basically, what happened was they tried to privatize, what happened was when they privatized the store, they put the debt on for privatization, and the stores just went bankrupt because they couldn't handle the debt load, and no one was going to Toys R Us. Amazon just like bankrupted them.
There's still a Babies R Us though. Like we still have the Babies R Us here in Southie, but again, that's one thing that's going to be stable is everybody's going to have a baby, so everybody gets a registry there. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah.
So they stayed in business, and I know the Kids R Us Corporation owns Babies R Us, so they're still making money. They didn't fuck up there, but yeah, there's only one Toys R Us in America, and I think they only keep it going for nostalgia reasons.
Yeah. Also, the music for this like little documentary is also like a villain, like a what you hear, this is like totally a DC villain. Like this guy can totally be a comic book villain. Like, I can just imagine him versus Kite Man. I can just imagine them fighting.
Kite Man, Roof Man. Yeah, he's kind of a borrower. Like even though his name is Roof Man, he literally burrowed behind the wall and he dug. How did they not find the remains of the plaster and stuff? Like, where did he put it? Did he just keep it there, like on the ground in his little makeshift? Because he dug his way through the plaster and stuff behind. I
don't know, man. And and then Sweet Mom's, like she says, they were trying to bring it back though, and then she says,
yeah, they are.
Lots of laughs to the fact he is a supervillain. He is my nose twin. I bet that his nose secretly controls the shots like mine does. Nose? Whose nose?
Nose. Are you saying you guys have the same nose?
Maybe. I don't know.
Oh my god. It just reminds me.
Frank says Worth. Yeah.
Yeah, but whoever said, I don't know if it was Sleuth Mom who said it or Frank, but they are bringing back toys. It's getting its wind, and there was an announcement about it, but I haven't heard much about it since then, and that was a month or so ago.
Yeah, so we're getting to the part where he screws up again. He tries to cover up his tracks by burning down the dentist office where he got his teeth fixed because he doesn't want them to track down his dental records. Yeah. It's like a supervillain would do, like, honestly. So let's just start it off.
Okay, we're at 20 minutes and 27 seconds, and pressing play now.
And we're shocked to discover who he really was. In a bid to cover his tracks, Manchester burned down a dentist office where he had gotten his teeth fixed while on the run, presumably worried that police would be able to find his dental records there.
I wonder how he paid for that.
This had the opposite effect of what he intended, and only made investigators more suspicious.
You think?
Manchester's identity was confirmed when one of his fingerprints were lifted from his secret room in the Circuit City. On January 5th, police contacted Manchester's girlfriend Lee and arranged for her to have him come over to her house for a supposed 40th birthday party. Manchester showed up, believing he would be able to see his girlfriend one last time before continuing his life on the run.
Romantic. Stopped it. Paused it.
Stop it. It's just like when like Batman's like girlfriend or something is captured by the villains and it's like you have to come here or we're going to do something. It's kind of like the reverse where the cops just grab his girlfriend. Like this is totally like a secret. I just can't believe I just made this connection. It's amazing. All right, let's continue.
I don't know how they haven't. We have other ideas. Instead of doing crypto and NFTs, we can make a superhero or a supervillain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. 21 minutes and 13 seconds. Pressing play now.
He arrived with flowers, but was arrested by waiting officers before he could make it inside the apartment.
Get
Manchester
flowers.
was ultimately able to speak to Lee after his arrest, and according to reports, he apologized for everything he had put her and her kids through. In an interview, Lee described her shock at the whole situation, saying, quote, "I don't hate him. I'm disappointed and confused. I don't know whether to smack him or hug him." The same confused sentiments were also expressed by many police officers and investigators who obviously wanted to catch him, but at the same time seemed almost impressed by what he had accomplished. One sergeant with the Charlotte Mecklenburg police said, quote, "You hate to compliment the guy because he's a dirtbag, but we can learn a lot from him." Another sergeant remarked, "This would make a great movie."
See?
Yeah.
Manchester was ultimately convicted on a slew of new charges, including malicious use of explosives to damage property, burning an unoccupied building, breaking and entering, possession of a firearm by a felon, robbery with a dangerous weapon, and prison escape. An inmate search lists his total incarceration term as 47 years, 2 months, and 15 days. Unlike his previous prison term, it appears that Manchester has racked up quite a few infractions since he was recaptured, including at least 2 for additional
Wow, he
escape
tried
attempts.
again.
Manchester is currently incarcerated at the Central Prison in Raleigh, where his projected release date is December 4th, 2036.
2036.
Do you
The
know of any
sequel.
other cases like this?
Okay.
This-
The thing is, though, that's if you think about it, that's not that too long.
Yeah, I mean, basically, that we're gonna finally get a sequel to The Roofman in 2036 when he's he's gonna live in a Starbucks.
Oh God.
He's
do
gonna-
you think if he makes it to 2036, okay, do you think he would be able to get set free?
Yeah, he'd be probably set free, and then so we'll have our sequel. We'll finally have the sequel to The Roofman. Frank says Words were amazing and sold everything at a bargain price. Well, maybe when it comes back, he can the Roofman can come to Britain and then start living in the Woolsworth. Just a thought. He could be like an internet. It could be like an international criminal.
It's really crazy. I really hope when he gets out that he uses his smarts for good. He was a sergeant in the military.
Yeah, maybe he'll be a preacher. Who knows? I mean, there's been weirder guys who become preachers, like that cannibal guy called General Butt Naked, who ate people and then became a Christian preacher after he ate like 20 people. So
Well, a lot of people who do crazy shit like that, they find God in prison.
yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So anywho, the next one we're gonna get into is the biggest wine fraud. Now, this guy over his career counterfeited $30 million in wine, and he even scammed the Koch brothers at one point. So this is an interesting one. This is our element of smooth criminals, and this is another smooth criminal. All right, so let's see. You got the video up?
Yes, I do. It's the 30 million fake wine scam by Rudy Kawani. I cannot pronounce it. Biggest wine
Or
fraud.
Nawani?
Yeah.
Don't put a gun to my head to say this guy's name correctly.
Yes. Did you want to read the article first, or do you want to read it?
No, we don't want to spoil it.
Okay.
So we will just play the video, and I'll read it afterwards, maybe.
Okay.
But
This is an 8-minute video, so.
So
We'll have time.
see Frank. So if he would have, if the Roofman would have came to Wordsworth, he can actually rob the clothes and give it to the kids of the girlfriend he was. I just wonder what he would be eating in the Wordsworth. Is there any food in the Wordsworth, the store? If there is, then that's definitely a target of the Roofman. But anywho, let's continue. We're going to start.
Sorry, I was, rabbit holes. I'm looking at the side now. This video is from FBE Capital, so credit goes to them, and we are at 00, and we're going to be pressing play now.
Wine. Such an elegant and beautiful liquid, and like most beautiful things, it has a price. An astronomically high price.
It reminds me of The Godfather.
Yeah.
Boom 1019.
Fine wines are truly in a league of their own. They exist in a world of collectors, experts, and holders of exceptional wealth.
This is amazing to see a Monet water lilies in someone's house.
All eager to pay well over $10,000 for a nice bottle of red on a Friday night.
On the list here, single bottle, $16,000.
And on top of this throne of
shit.
delicious excess sits the most exclusive bottle of wine in the world, the 1945 Romine Conti. A single bottle of 1945 Romine Conti went on auction at Sotheby's and fetched an amazing $558,000, completely destroying the expected price of $32,000. The stellar rise of the Burgundy wines to the #1 spot was in the making for several years. But in the early 2000s, only one man saw the full potential of the Burgundies and a way to get filthy rich off of them, even adopting the alter ego Dr. Conti. This man was Rudy Kurniawan, and he would become the greatest wine forgers of all time.
He was manipulative because he knew how to develop that persona.
I'm going to press
that
pause
would
real
give him-
quick. Pressing pause real quick. I don't know who in their right mind would spend more than $500,000 on a bottle of wine. You have to be like an Uber collector. What do you do with it right after?
You store it. Basically, it's a collection. You're never gonna drink it. Yeah, you don't drink it because it doesn't go bad as long as you tilt it in the right way and you have it like controlled. And basically, that's it.
And then what? Then you die. Then you
die. Well, then you sell it.
Well, why not save the over $500,000 and not buy it at all? Because if you want it to raise in price, you're gonna have to wait a good chunk of years.
And then if you drunk like that would be like the most balling move. If you went to a McDonald's and you pulled out like a $500,000 bottle of wine, you started eating a burger and drinking like the wine.
My ghetto ass would do something like that, but also my cheap ass too. I can't imagine somebody spending this much money on wine, and I'm bitching about a bottle of tonic is like $2 and change, and you know what I mean? Like I don't maybe also too, you know, we were raised with making wine. It was very easy to make wine. We had the wine press imported. We got it. My Vavo had it. I think my father has it now. It's in the shed. We made wine. We grew the grapes. We made Portuguese wine, and it was beautiful. Even as a kid, your father will give you a little sip and be, and I just don't see. I like that better than that's just me.
So,
I don't find importance in wine, not unless you're making it together. That was fun.
Absolutely.
But
I'm not making the wine though. I'm not making. You can make the wine. I'm not going to make the wine.
I can teach you. It's not like what Lucille
I'm not
Ball.
making. Listen, when I go to jail for various crimes, I'll learn how to make wine from the toilet bowl. That's the first thing I'm going to try.
That's dirty.
So, and I'm going to read the comment. Frank says, pick and mix junk food for movies and sold DVDs. So he should have went in. The Roofman should have went into World War. He would have had all the food and entertainment he wanted. Mm-hmm. And then Sleuthmom says, I suppose if you have nothing better to spend your money on, though, and drink it, yeah. And then Sleuth, shut your mouth. Frank said, got some expensive red wine. And then Sleuthmom says, I want someone to love me enough to gift me 500,000 bottle of wine.
But when
Good
did
wine.
you see? But the thing is, though. The first thing you said, Sleuth, is like you have that much money to spend it, and maybe that's such, I could see so much good. I'm this person that I think if I ever had a lot of money, of course I would want my family to be settled and never have to worry for anything. But
no, you wouldn't just
I would donate. I would try to donate as much as I could to local places, like homeless youth and all.
What if you grabbed the $500,000 bottle of wine and you donated to like a homeless person? He said, "Here you go."
Are you kidding me? With that money? Oh my God! See, in my head I'm going, this man
he starts drinking. And then he starts drinking the wine.
Right? No, if I was to ever buy anything that frivolous, to me, mind you, this is to me. I'm not. If you're a whiny, and you like this stuff, and this is what you do, have at it. I mean, who am I to judge? I collect. I collect anime statues. Okay, I collect anime statues and skulls. Literally, that's all I do.
Yeah,
so who am I to judge?
But the guy basically, what happened is that most people just collected. No one's gonna drink it. I think this wine would taste like shit if you drank it.
Why?
Like you're talking, because they say, oh, it tastes better over time. But I think this wine probably would taste like shit.
Whiskey and rum.
No, it's also wine. Like there's certain years of vintages that are like really exceptional because of like the soil and the rain and all that shit. I don't know. I don't drink, so I wouldn't know shit about wine. I just know that people pay stupid money for wine.
If I'm going to pay literally enough to buy 2.5 houses, okay?
No, you could go to Florida and buy like 3 for that.
Right? Like, I'm just saying, like, if I could buy like 3 houses and I spent that on a bottle of wine, you think my fat ass is not going to take a sip? Oh, we're having a party. Like, I'm gonna drink it. It's fucking wine.
We got it.
You know.
Anywho, let's continue the video.
So weird. I'm at 1 minute and 24 seconds. Are you good to go?
All right, I'm ready.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Pressing play now.
Credibility in the very fine wine world.
This is the Kearney one. Really went to the
There's so much
degree.
wine everywhere.
In as little as 4 years, Rudy Kurniawan sold over $30 million worth of fake wines that would fool even the best wine tasters. And Rudy's strength wasn't just his vast knowledge of wines and their origins, it was actually his amazing palate.
He has perhaps one of the best palates that the world had seen in many, many years.
You see, the average human has about 4,000 to 10,000 taste buds depending on age and genetics. And we use these not just to determine which foods and drinks we like, but actually to determine which ones are safe to consume. Now, funny enough, the animal that has the highest number of taste buds is actually the catfish, which is a perfect analogy for the lies spun by Rudy in order to work his way up the elite world of wine enthusiasts.
I don't
said to people, basically,
really
I'm a trust fund baby.
Liquor distribution in Hong Kong.
Now, Rudy did not possess the 100,000 individual taste buds of a catfish, but it was clear that he possessed far more than the average human. And since our sense of taste is also dominated by our sense of smell, it's very likely that Rudy also possessed an incredible sense of smell, which allowed him to easily outperform the most experienced wine tasters.
He had an exceptional memory. He knew the Bordeaux and Burgundy appellations by heart.
So how was Rudy able to pull off this fraud? Because having a superior palate is one thing, but that in itself is not going to sell $30 million worth of wine. For this, Rudy needed to become an authority figure in the elite world of wine auctions, and that meant leaving LA for New York.
I have no fucking idea. I don't understand. If there's any rich person that's watching or rewatching, please send me a message. When you go to a nice, fancy, bougie restaurant, and you order this plate that could cost $200, okay? But you just have a little 2-inch piece of meat with little random garnish and like a sauce on it, and it looks fucking perfect. What the fuck is that?
Oh man, but let's just read the comments. Nah, cheap wine. Frank says, nah, cheap wine is a violet, especially white. I have 300-pound bottle of champagne and a collection of red that would disgust you how much I paid for it.
But you like doing it. That's the thing. You know.
Mom says, my favorite wine is white wine from Olive Garden. I'm not hard to impress. Probably tastes better than this wine that you're paying $500,000 for. Supermom also says, it was the only wine I ever had that I enjoyed, and Frank said buffering. Yeah, there's some issues with YouTube. YouTube is like, it's like buffering, and it's delayed in comparison to Facebook.
Yeah.
Facebook really is a lot, like, we're on top of it, and for some reason, fucking YouTube is buffering. It's a little temperamental. I'll have to check that out. So sorry for the delay, guys. But anywho.
But yeah,
I mean, like,
real quick, Frank, you love doing that. Do you get what I'm saying? That's your. I can understand that's your thing, but I feel like you're smart enough to be like, my limit is such a XXX amount of money. Do you get what I'm saying? Yeah. You know. Like,
So I mean, basically, the article has is the greatest wine fraud, because I don't think it's good. It's like a long video, this thing, and it's just I want to read it. So he was the biggest wine forger, started as small. Okay, let's just skip that shit because we already know that shit.
From the Guardian, right?
Yeah, this is from the Guardian.
Okay, I have it up.
So Carnawan also had a palate of rare finesse, better than most at identifying the characteristics of different vintages, or at least that's what the people he fooled said. At first, he was interested in Californian wine, and in particular, Pinot Noir. I am not fucking able to pronounce that. I'm not rich enough to pronounce that name. That's the problem. When you get rich enough, you start able to pronounce all these freaking names. But I'm too poor to pronounce these names. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe let's. Is that like French or whatever? Maybe Frank. Frank might have a ability because he like lives right over the pond with the French. Maybe he's got some French expertise. But it says, but soon he developed a taste for Burgundy and made mainly from the same grape, but far more glamorous. A Burgundy Byzantine system of appellants, Kanawan, or we'll just call him Mr. K, sensed hard profits. He became a major player at the auctions, buying and selling some of the 20th century and greatest wines. He bought so much Dome de la Romana Conte, he became known as Dr. Conte, which the presumably later amused some of those he defrauded. In an auction at Ecker Morel and Condet in 2006, Mr. K sold $24.7 million of wine, beating the previous record by $10 million. These were the days of the first dot-com boom when Silicon Valley had more money than sense and combination which has always been drawn. And it says here, corks that we used. Yeah, so basically you see the corks in the thing. So what he would used to do, I don't know if the video covers it, he used to buy wine, right? He'd drink wine, and then he would go to the back of the store, like with a restaurant, and rob the corks and the bottles. And then he would just mix up like 2 different cheap wines to get the same flavor, and then recork it and do some like shit. Like he would like age it, like he was like literally like age the wine. He would age the bottle. He would do like a whole bunch of things to finagle.
He was
so that's
smart,
like with the picture.
That's the thing. So like we talked about earlier before we went live. I was like, this guy was smart, but he chose crime, just like the other guy. Smart, but you chose to do crime.
Rather be because he only got 10 years. Spoiler alert: he gets caught eventually. He only gets 10 years. The other guy's going for like 50 years. So I mean, he only made $100,000. This guy made like $30 million. So I'd rather be the wine scammer, to be honest with you. Feels like a better class of villain.
If you had to pick the lesser evil, I would probably pick the wine.
Yeah, and you make way more money. I mean,
I have to hide inside a wall.
Yeah, he went to parties. He just did everything. Imagine if they both like combine their forces, Roofman and the wine super villain duo.
They wouldn't be supervillains. They would just become politicians.
No, these guys actually have work stealing money. In time, however, discrepancies appeared in the market bottles of Clos Saint-Denis from Domaine Ponsat of Tibet. Oh my god.
We're gonna butcher them anyway, so we do apologize.
I think you're paying like the $500,000 for the fancy fucking name. Between 1945 and 1971, started to turn up. Laurent Ponsat, the head of the house, found his surprising as his family only started making the wine in 1982 and set out to investigate. So basically, the wine guy only started in 1982, and this wine is being sold for like 1945 to 1971. So they couldn't exist. So
like every supervillain, they get cocky and sloppy.
Yeah, you got cocky. So let's continue the video. I just wanted that part to be read, and we'll continue reading, just so there won't be spoilers.
All right. We are at 3 minutes and 51 seconds, and I'll be pressing play right now.
Oh, here comes Rudy. Rudy's coming to this dinner. You know, what's Rudy going to bring? What incredible old wine that none of us have ever seen before will he bring?
Rudy was able to impress everyone with his knowledge of wines and his infamous wine cellar, from which he was able to produce one amazing bottle after another. But his new friends and associates had no idea that he was literally producing these bottles in his LA homemade laboratory.
I refill and put the cork back.
Through his exceptional nose and sense of taste, Rudy knew exactly which regular wines to mix to produce the taste of some of the greats.
Valley Pinot Noir, which had 40s/50s DRC, leading to the fact that he could actually use this wine in creating a wine from the Domaine de la Romana Conti from the 1940s or 50s.
Like a Roman emperor, Rudy made sure that wherever he was, the wine was always flowing lavishly, making him one of the most well-known wine collectors in New York. So when Rudy went to his buddy John Capon, To auction off some of the wonderful wines, nobody thought anything of it. Not only that, but the Rudy Kurniawan auctions began attracting buyers from all over the world since he was listing many incredible wines. This allowed Rudy to sell well over $30 million worth of wine with great ease. Perhaps even a little bit too easy since Rudy started making serious mistakes.
The estate manager said that in his life he'd never seen a bottle of Romanée Conti 45, while Rudy Kurniawan had 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 bottles. So there was a problem.
Now it's important to note here that Rudy had already sold hundreds of bottles and was making hundreds more. So it's quite possible that he simply thought, "F it, there is no need to be thorough anymore," since the mistakes were quite obvious. With some of the wines, he was no longer taking the time to perfect the taste and was simply filling them up and focusing solely on the exterior of the bottle.
We should have a tasting of the Roumier wines that he'd bought. Out of 11 wines we tasted, 6 were clearly fake.
While with others, he made even bigger mistakes by labeling the wrong year.
And my first thought was, wow, I've never seen those before. And I was intrigued, and then I thought, wait a minute, I've never seen that before.
The mislabeling of the Ponceau wines was really the beginning of the end for Rudy, since he had now angered the one winemaker that wasn't afraid to stand up against fraud, Laurent Ponceau.
And he asked me a very silly question. Since when do you produce the Clos Saint-Denis? Clos Saint-Denis is one of the Grand Crus that we produce now. We started to produce this in 1982.
You see, one of the
Stop
reasons why well-executed wine...
Stop it?
Yes, it's pause.
Okay, good. So basically, like, this guy was so fucking adamant about going after this guy, he would actually follow him to the auctions and say, "This is a fraud, they're fake, don't buy it, it's fake." So, and then, like, let me read the comics. It's a barrel that makes it expensive, and then I sooth my barrel. I have barrels. If I fill them with juice, will it become expensive? No, sleuth mom. Frank says. Yeah, unfortunately, you can't just fill up bottles of juice and just wait like 10 years and make millions of dollars. Unfortunately, if that was the case, you know, I would have done that a while ago.
But he's so, again, so smart. Had an amazing palate. Knew basically fucking alchemy to make all these different wines, and you know these.
Well, I mean, if you were able to mix 2 cheap wines that were like $100 each and make it like worth 100,000, would you do it?
If it was sold for the taste and not the time, I would do it. But I also wouldn't.
Okay, we got it. Clip it.
Hold on.
Before Tony's a criminal. He's the next stuff.
Before anybody incriminates me, below, you know, if I ever get in trouble, you're probably gonna be there defending me. But no. He's like, "Fuck you, no, but,
absolutely not. I'm running out of the country."
All seriousness, though, if it was about taste and it was just mixing and matching, or even growing my own vintage. Vines, I would be truthful about it. I'd be like, this is a mock taste of 1902 something, blah blah blah. I wouldn't lie about it.
No offense. I feel like this is like revenge for like all the rich people, like against all the rich people. So I actually like it because all these people
gave it to the poor.
Well, he kept it for himself. He was poor, so you know, kind of gave it to the poor. He was poor, and he took the money for himself. So you know
what I mean.
So, I mean, but think about it. These guys, like, I don't care about these guys too much. I'm just amazed that he actually scammed them. Because, like, immediately when I see a guy sitting on a gold chair complaining about being scammed, I'm like, bro, fuck off. At this point, if you're sitting in if it was like a guy who's like, I invested my retirement, I'd be like, oh yeah, fuck that guy for scamming. This guy is literally sitting in a gold chair. He's talking about drinking like $30,000 wines a day. I mean, come on. So let's continue. Let's go with the article. Let me just read the comments.
Yeah, I can't feel bad for that. I can't. If you're a millionaire and you got scammed, but you're being cocky, and you know, there's a lot of worse things that could happen in the world. Yes, you got scammed. That sucks. It always does, no matter how much money you have. But be grateful that you weren't somebody who spent their retirement.
So,
you know.
Yeah. So let's continue now.
The video or the article?
The article. We'll read a bit. Okay. The article. So, next person he scammed was actually Bill Koch. Now, Bill Koch. Koch. Yes. Koch. I think it's called the Koch brothers. and he's worth $1.7 billion. How they made their money, by the way, is an interesting story. His father basically secretly, illegally sold coal to Russia, the Soviet Union, and that's how they made their money. So just how that is. So anywho, basically what happened was the article. Let me pull up the article. Around the same time, Bill Koch, an American billionaire who found fake bottles in his collection, hired a private detective and filed a lawsuit. Authentication experts saw more and more dodgy consignments, and emerging from these record-breaking auctions, at last the FBI got involved in March of 2012, and they raided Mr. K's house in Arcadia, California. They found a fully equipped counterfeiting workshop, compete with corking tools, labels, empty bottles, extensive tasting notes. Mr. K had been taking cheaper wines, though still better than you will find in your average off-license, and putting them in more expensive bottles or altering bottles to appear more valuable. The most expensive wines are so rarely drunk few can claim to be expert on how they taste. On the occasion that they are opened, it is usually a courtesy of a generous host. It is a poor guestmanship to lob aspiration.
What does lob
aspersion.
mean?
I have no idea. See, this is why I went to public.
This is too bougie for me, Belial. This is too bougie for me. Let's go back to McDonald's working lady.
Throw. It's. I think it means droop or to throw, hit, or propel easily in a high arc. Okay, we're learning.
Yay! Words. Lob.
I have no idea what lob. I guess now lob.
I have no
I
idea
figured
what
out.
lob
This
is.
is what happens when you send your kids to public school. They don't really get the education that they should have got. What's aspersion?
I can't hold on a second.
Oh, this is what happens.
Lob.
This is.
Is it like when you lob off a flesh or skin? That's
No,
what I
no.
think
It's
of,
an.
you know.
Okay, it's an attack on the reputation or integrity. So it gets lob at the reputation. Okay. We had to actually look up the words because we had no fucking clue what that word meant.
I'm just gonna fucking say, the Guardian. Fuck you.
Expersion. It's expersion. Lob expersion. Okay. Clip out the part where I sound like a complete moron and, put this part where it makes me sound smart. Okay, Tony? Do it later.
Lob. This is so
Where was
bougie. This whole
Yeah, it is bougie.
This part
It
of
is
it
bougie.
is so fucking bougie. I just can't. I'm just gonna nod and smile to the next word that I don't understand and be like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah, I know. I didn't go to public school. I have no clue. I don't know this word.
And you're smarter than me. You're the book smart one.
I've rarely seen that word. Honestly, I do a lot of I read a lot, and I also do my work is generally only words, and it's rarely ever used that word actually. I think maybe it's been used once in my life so far, so it is what it is. Especially lob. That I've never heard.
I haven't either.
Someone using in a sentence. The entire industry hangs on the word of the critic Robert Parker, whose scores are a benchmark against how wines are priced. At Princeton, the economist came up with an algorithm based on weather data from the grape crop's growth period that nearly exactly mimic Parker's score. Bro, you people are too much into fucking wine. You people need to get another hobby.
Y'all think meth heads are bad? Y'all need to calm the fuck down with this wine.
Yeah, I've never seen a meth head actually fucking read the stars and the weather for his next fucking hit. This is a crazy shit.
No, they can't even see the stars. Even when it's at midnight, they're just yeah.
Yeah. So the feeling of being scammed will be familiar to almost anyone who has ordered wine in a restaurant. Mr. K simply scaled it up. In 2014, he was sentenced to 10 years in California prison, the first person to be convicted of wine fraud. Let's continue the video, and then we'll continue the article, and that's it. So you can start the video.
Oh, okay. I had a little brain for a minute. Okay, we are at 6 minutes and 38 seconds. Pressing play now.
Fraud is so hard to stop is that every victim has a vested interest into keeping quiet.
Well, we have a selection of my fake wines. For 421 bottles that are definitely fake, I've spent $4.5 million.
If you had just bought $1 million worth of fake wines, Do you then go and announce to the world that you were scammed? Of course not. This will only make you look stupid and you'll still not get your money back. Winemakers also have a history of keeping quiet, since any lawsuit would only attract negative attention to their well-curated brands, so they tend to let it slide. This means that many cases go unresolved, since the FBI is not going to waste resources if the victims do not want to cooperate or press charges. However, Laurent Ponceau was far too proud to let this fraud go, and he was like a hawk on Rudy's ass. He actually followed Rudy all over the world, from Europe to North America and all over Asia, all while collecting evidence about the auctions and resources that Rudy was using. This evidence was later used by the FBI to acquire a search warrant for Rudy's LA home, and when they opened the door to his house, they found the legendary wine laboratory. In the end, Rudy Kurniawan was sentenced to 10 years in prison and had to forfeit a staggering $20 million. In addition to this, he was also ordered to pay $28 million in restitution to his victims. This all made Rudy Kurniawan the biggest wine fraud in the history of fine wine.
Okay, so let me just read the article.
Okay, press. Oh.
Wine.
There we go. That's insane. He only got 10 years for it. But he had to lose some. He's gonna come back, you know.
Where he's at now.
He's gonna do like a crypto thing. Watch, in about 5 years, like when he gets
Frank
out of jail.
Frank says you'll never had a good Marley, and Nick do this. They drop the price on fakes that sell well. Yeah, Nike. Okay, Nike. Yeah.
I'm not a drinker by all means. Not a drinker because it's too accessible. I'm an addict. I'm a sober addict. So I don't drink that much, not even on holidays and stuff like that. So I guess I don't appreciate the wine. You do get what I'm saying? Like, there's an appreciation to it, right, Frank? Like, people appreciate their Pokemon cards. Get a Charizard.
So Frank, I have a question. Which Marley, which kind of wine goes best with beans? Frank is. Stop joking.
Beans and pizza, please.
Yeah, I can just imagine with like a hot dog.
Red or white would complement it.
Yeah, with hot dogs and beans, drinking a wine, like a $1,000 bottle of wine, just like. So anyway, there's a new, and then I'll read the article. A new documentary, Sour Grapes, revisited the story. It came about after 2 years after the director met by chance at Mr. K's trial. Okay, we don't need that. But if you want to watch the documentary, it's called Sour Grapes.
Oh wait, isn't it on Netflix?
Might be.
I've heard of it before.
Yeah, so basically,
there's one
all this other stuff is kind of like blah. Who gives a crap? It's about the documentary. But let's see where he's at now. Rudy K, just call him K. I'm not butchering this guy's name. Deported to Indonesia. Rudy K, the most famous and effective wine forger of the modern era, was deported to his native Indonesia last week after being taken into custody by U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement in early November after serving 7 years in prison, in a statement reported by various media outlets. ICE stated that the 44-year-old Mr. K is to be considered a threat to public safety due to his conviction for a felony. The forger spent 7 years in Reeves Correctional Institution in Texas, one of the largest private prison in the world with 3,763 inmates. And this was, so he was released in 2021. So he's out of jail. He's in Indonesia now. Let me read more. According to the New York Post, Mr. K worried that he would be given the worst seat on the plane and had tried to secure the right to purchase his first-class seat on the flight out of the United States. But he was denied the possibility. So this guy definitely, like, because a lot of people believe that he had other people helping him, bottling the wine and everything, and that's why he probably fucked up, because he made so many. So he probably sent, I guarantee you, he sent money to Indonesia. There's no doubt in my mind that he sent money back to Indonesia.
And mind you, even sending like $50,000 there, he is buku rich in Indonesia. Do you get what I'm saying?
Indonesia, yeah, he's probably buku rich. He's richer than me, guarantee you.
Oh yeah.
He probably's got like a $10 million like in Indonesia. Who knows? So, according to the New York Post, Mr. K worried that he. Okay, I read that part already. Sorry. Let me just get to the part I missed. According to the New York Post, Mr. K worried. ICE said he landed on Friday at Holy shit! How am I going to say this word? Soekarno Hatta International Airport, located in the suburb of Jakarta. He entered the U.S. as a non-immigrant student in November 1997 and then devoted himself to his most lucrative activity, buying and selling fine wines, and gradually gaining the trust of the greatest American collectors, willing to spend tens of thousands of dollars in order to acquire bottles prestigious. Basically, that's what happened. Who is really... Yeah, so they say he scammed like $28.4 million, basically. So... Yeah, so he's in Indonesia, and he's super rich enough to buy first-class tickets. How much is a first-class ticket to Indonesia, by the way?
No idea, but I see right here, he wired $17 million to his brother in Hong Kong and Indonesia, although the email documents show that Mr. K was often desperately short of money. He still lived in a mansion and drove a Ferrari.
So basically, it's Jakarta... Yeah, a first-class ticket to Jakarta is about $18,000. One way. First class to Jakarta, $18,000. So he definitely probably was like, let me just sneak all the money back to Indonesia. And then that's probably what he did. He probably wired the money to Hong Kong, and that money got wired to fucking Indonesia. I guarantee you. Why he wasn't convicted of wire fraud, I have no idea. No idea, but anywho...
The sad part is, he was smart. He could have made his own wine. He could.
Why you keep on saying that? The guy made like $20 million, and he just did 7 years in jail. I mean, if you came up to me and said, "Yo, B,
not that much money is worth it to be in
bro,"
jail.
How many people would say yes to say you have to stay in jail for 7 years, but we'll give you $20 million, and you have to leave the United States and go to Indonesia. But you'll become like the king of Indonesia because you have $20 million.
No. Leave my family? No.
Well, your family can always move to Indonesia if you have $20 million. You can buy like literally an island in Indonesia, probably. How much is land in Indonesia now?
Believe me, my parents would not do that. My siblings will not. They have lives here, and it would be really fucked up for me to ask them to do. There's not an amount of money that would make me want to go to prison. I'd rather be poor and living free than be rich and spend X amount of years in a jail cell where I could get shanked or...
It's like Jakarta is like New York City, kind of. It's like you can, like, the real estate prices are pretty big there. So, I mean, like, Jakarta, maybe we should, like, check out Jakarta. How is Jakarta? I want to see how Jakarta is. Maybe we should move to Jakarta.
I don't know these places.
Here, let's see. Indonesia. In tour of Jakarta, Indonesia. Jakarta. Let me see. Here, let's do a 3-minute. We'll go through the tour of Jakarta. We got to learn about. Let me see if it's actually English. One moment. You know, if the scam goes bad, like when we finally make our NFTs and everything, we have to find a place that has a non-extradition country. So we might have to go to Indonesia. That's what I'm just saying. So
well, he wasn't. Yeah. He's not a. Obviously, he wasn't.
Here, here's the video. Yeah, put the day in. Like I sent you the video. Let's say day in Jakarta. Yeah, play the video, and let's see if.
Let's see. Maybe I have to see it before I take this, but I still feel there's.
And is Indonesia a non-extradition country?
Okay, rewinding it, and this video is only about 4 minutes long.
It's a non-extradition country, so when we make our NFTs, we can go to Indonesia.
I'm gonna be going on the lam, y'all.
We're making our escape plan on stream, by the way. Right. So just.
This video is from DW Travel, so credit goes to them, and it's the city tour of Jakarta. Pronounce it for me.
Tony said, Frank says, I don't take a butt punch in the cell for $30 million. You're not gonna take a butt punch, bro. If you have like millions of dollars, you can easily pay off a gang to watch your back. Literally watch your back. Let's just say that much. If you went up to a gang and said, "Hey, I'll give like $100,000 to your family to watch my ass literally for jail," they will watch your ass. They will make sure no one messes with you.
This
Okay?
is true, but you don't
There's
wanna get-
people that
what people don't tell you, Belial, is that when you run politics in prison or in jail, depending on which, when you run politics in there and you have a service, sometimes the ghost haunts you when you get out.
What are you talking about?
Usually when you make connections in prison and when you get out, there's
Well, he's being deported. He's being deported to Indonesia.
but I'm
So
saying,
I mean,
I'm saying in general, like in general. I'm not saying if you're deported or not. I'm saying if you make like it's all favors. Do you
yeah, I
what I'm
get
saying?
it, and I'm getting the favor of not getting ass punched in prison.
Yes,
and I'm giving him a service of $100,000, so I do not get ass punched in prison. So I'll pay like more than that. If I have like 20, I'll pay $20 million. I'll have $20 million. I can easily pay half the prison to literally fight for me. Like, to be honest with you, I mean, like, let's be real. But you could probably just buy them like concessions, like food. You could probably buy them like chips and potato chips, probably, and you'd probably avoid that. So $100,000, yeah, probably you'd be good. I mean, like, and then Sweet Mom says, "Tony, have you been to prison?"
No, but I have been locked up before. I have.
Yeah.
It's stupid shit, believe me, and it wasn't for a long time. It was only for a couple of days, but I hung around with bad people, which you should not ever do. Never do.
No. Frank says, "Tony." Yeah, but you know what? I've never been to prison, luckily. But I'm just saying, like, if I had $20 million, I would definitely figure out a way to use the money so I wouldn't get ass punched in prison. Let's just say that would be like my number one goal in prison at that particular point. Tony, Frank says Tony defo been in prison. Days equals years.
It does. It really. I was only in there for a couple of days, and it was horrible.
Yeah.
And this was before that, mind you. This is before my transition. I don't know what the protocol is for, but it's still dangerous. And that's
So what's Tora Chicado? Because this might be our new home.
Yes.
If our scam goes highway, because this is a non-extradition country, so we have to look up non-extradition countries so we can escape the United States.
So we're
and we have to make sure.
Tour.
Yeah, we have to take a tour. The day in the life of Jakarta. Let's go.
Okay. 00 and pressing play now. I could see myself getting a little moped.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm Amelia. We are in the capital city of Indonesia, Jakarta, and let's go to see around.
That's depressing.
It's. I mean, it's nice.
I wish it was a sunny day during this video. See, they got fruit.
We are in the traditional.
I can do my banana diet
now.
now.
You can buy everything like food,
I can eat 30 bananas a day now.
Fish,
Exactly.
eggs, and also beef. You can buy everything here.
They got a lot of music. Not good music, but
Reminds
music.
me of the street vendors in Mexico.
Yeah. They got fresh food. They got music.
They probably don't use sewer oil.
Yeah. I mean, look at this. You'd have to pay like $10 for this stuff in California.
True.
They got birds. I don't know why you need birds, but you got birds.
It's rambutan. It's a very delicious fruit and very sweet for me.
Yeah, you have to break it open to eat it.
Stinky food. It's pate. You should try.
So you could probably lose a lot of weight in this country because they all have fruit. That's dragon fruit.
Yep.
Where's the clubs? Look at this. The traffic's nice. The road's nice. They got memorials.
Okay, guys, and the next destination is the statue. We call it Horde statue. It's one of my favorite statue in
That
Jakarta.
is very gorgeous.
It's a very beautiful with the fountain, and you can see around with the skyscraper. It's really nice to visit here.
See, when you want to live in Jakarta, once we get busted for our scams of NFTs.
I'm telling you, it's like a little Boston.
This is how we cross the street.
Yeah, it's probably cleaner than Boston.
Oh no, this
off.
is very
use
cleaner
your
than
hand to stop
Boston.
the car.
Definitely, we might have to worry about saying anything about Allah because I think this is a Muslim country. So make sure to avoid that.
Okay, it's the end of the day in
How do they feel about
Jakarta.
trans
See
people?
the highlight of the day.
Look it up.
We will
the
see.
top of the monument.
Do they say it in this
Let's
video?
check out.
I don't think that's
The
enter.
monument is 130 meter high.
Oh wow.
And it is symbolizing the struggle of Indonesia independence. And it is in the center of Merdeka Square, and we call it Monas. There are living over 10 million people in Jakarta.
We might have problems. They don't like LGBTQ people.
You just Googled it, didn't you?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Alright.
We might have to rethink our plans in Jakarta.
Yeah, you better look up for another country.
Yeah, we have to look.
It's time to say goodbye. I hope you guys
Bye,
enjoyed
Jakarta.
our trip
I
in
mean, it's
Jakarta,
beautiful.
and let's come to visit.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
It's really beautiful. It
So, the
sucks
guy-
that
I
they
mean-
don't like people like me, but
Yeah, I mean, but at least now we know where the guy's going. Like, he's not going to some,
He's
like,
not
horrible...
suffering. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to, like, a nice city. So, oh my god, he got deported back to Indonesia with $20 million. Oh my god. He gets to leave the hellhole, which is California.
And it's
Honestly,
his
if I had to choose between living in California and Jakarta, a matter of fact, if I had a choice between living in California or any, like, even Mexico City, Jakarta, the only place I probably wouldn't want to live in was, like, you know, North Korea or something like China or Russia. I mean, like, honestly, I think Jakarta would probably be better than California. At least there's not, like, fires and, like, you know, apocalyptic events going on
yeah, but
in
the
Jakarta.
thing is, this is the kicker. They're not very LGBTQ plus friendly, so that means there's no gay clubs for me to go to, so I gotta pass.
Okay. And then C-Mom says, my number one goal in life is not to happen to me. Oh, wait, I'm just curious why you know there was a barter system. I know there was a barter system, personally, because I watched too many CNN, like, you know, like in prison. So I seen the barter system. So, because I always said, just in case, I need to know the barter system, just in case I go to prison.
You guys have
anyway.
no idea. Do y'all know how much canteen you need to have?
Yeah, you need like
a bag of
lot.
Cheetos is like $5, and I'm not talking about
Yeah.
like, oh, a big bag. No, I'm talking about like the ones you pack your kids to school.
It's basically used as like a credit system in jail. Like you can
You
literally
can work though. If your jail slash prison most likely has a job program. All the money that you earn can either go to court fees and fines, or if you have those all paid up, but you still have to do the time, it goes into the canteen. But it's really shit money. It's like $1 a day.
Yeah. And then Frank says, Sleuth, I said, let me see, newly Muslim, but that part of Asian is new to Islam. And this woman, for example, isn't as Muslim. Yeah, probably. But yeah, it looks like a nice country. I think it's definitely an option for me, at least, if I ever commit like a crime that I need to get out of the country immediately, like a financial crime or something. You know, because I could just transfer my money. I'm not going to transfer my money to Hong Kong because that's run by the Chinese government right now. So I have to look for another place to send my illegal money that I'm going to once we make our NFT scams, and just like Luna, the Luna coin that went from $80 to less than a penny. So you know. It is what it is. We're not.
I went down a rabbit hole. The top 12 most annoying things about Jakarta.
Yeah, let's not do that. Let's not go through the rabbit hole.
I sent it to you though.
Yeah. So anyway.
Sorry.
So yeah, I mean, so we went through all three things basically.
Yeah, that was
We
it.
started with
That's
we
a
started
show.
with this. We started with the stupidest criminal, to the medium stupidest criminal, to the smartest criminal. I think we kind of worked it up. My favorite guy was actually the roof guy. I feel like that's just an arch. It's like the origin story is the roof guy. Like clearly, I liked him. I felt like there should be a movie about him. There should be like maybe a comic book about him. The wine guy is kind of like I like him because he scammed rich people, stupid rich people. I mean that was my fun. Like when he scammed the Koch brothers.
He became a stupid rich person because he made that mistake.
Yeah, he got sloppy. You know, he should have just like, my advice is that you should never get sloppy when you commit your crimes. You need to like kind of like have that in mind. You have to keep that work ethic, that grind, that like Sigma male grind when it comes to scamming. You know, you can't be sloppy with your scams in life. That's my advice. Maybe that's the advice of the stream. Don't be sloppy with your scams. You have to like be like Sigma grind.
Dare. Don't. No, bad Belial. No. If you have a talent, do not go to crime with that talent. These people could have, well, besides, you know, that rat.
The wine guy.
The girl in the beginning, clearly she's not going places. The sad part about the girl at McDonald's who made that whole big thing is that she's pregnant and she's on the run. Like, think of the baby. You know what I mean? Like, it's you know, now hindsight, it's pretty sad, but she was pretty ratchet in that video. But if y'all missed it, you can obviously rewind it and rewatch it. It's at the beginning. But
Well, my advice is, you know, if you're gonna stick to a crime, make sure not to be sloppy. Okay, with your financial crimes, you have to make sure you have the Sigma grind set.
Y'all clip it right now. Clip it. Belial said, but he did it.
Yeah, we gotta put the let me see. Are we gonna copyright if we play the Sigma grind set song?
We probably are. Music is a lot more touchy than videos like when we do this.
Just when you Google the Sigma grind set while you're thinking of scamming, like when you're doing your financial scam crimes, and play that music in your head every time. Like when you're filling up the bottles of wine, like, you know, you're tasting it and you're making fake forgery wines, or when you're drilling in the top of a McDonald's to rob this, you know. I don't know what you rob now because like McDonald's has no money. I don't know. Maybe a Starbucks. Not even Starbucks has cash. What has cash?
What is this? How to train for the world's most elite wine exam? They have tests.
Yeah, you got to get the test. You know.
Well, this is the thing too. I've noticed, like, when I watch movies or shows, like, you know, when I was watching The Real Housewives, they would go to like this vineyard and they would, you know, get drunk and stuff. But when they were trying wines, buy the wines, they would, you know, swish it around in the glass and then they would spit it out.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read the good night, Tony. Good luck this week. Good night, Tim. See you live throughout the week. Yeah, thank you. So I think this is a good place to part. Let's go with your closing statement. I'll go with my closing statement, and we'll end it, and that's it.
Don't go to crime. Just don't do crime. If you have a talent and you're smart and, you know, you have things that other people don't have, don't go to crime. Be smarter than that. You know what I mean? Like, both of them, not the ratchet girl in the beginning, but both of these people we talked about were smart. They knew what they were doing, but again, they got cocky. Why not do it at all? Maybe invest in that. You should have stayed in the military with the rooftop guy. You should have stayed in the military. You could have really went far. You were a sergeant. And now look at you. You have another, 10 years in prison. You know what I mean? And then we have this other man who had an amazing palate. He was smart. He knew how to mix things. He had a good sense of smell. And he could have just made the best original type of wine out there. You know what I mean? Like, he could have used it for... I just think you could use your powers for good and not for evil. But... yeah, it's corny, but that's my final thought. Like, be kind, y'all.
Well, I think we could probably go for... I think Sweet Mom says that we could end early. Maybe we could go for a little bit longer. Maybe we could talk about the worst alpha male.
Do you want... Do you want to? Tiambini made that. We can still watch it. I was just remembering.
You don't like her?
No, I like Tia Beanie. Tia Beanie is amazing. The worst alpha male YouTuber. That's the only reason.
How about the food crisis? We'll go through the food crisis.
Oh yeah, we did promise them the food crisis.
We could do one more video with the food thing, and then we'll continue.
It's important too because then people are aware. Hold on.
Yeah, so we'll do the wheat crisis. The
you
food
got it.
crisis.
Thank you. I was looking for
All right, we'll do one more video and then we'll skedaddle.
Yes.
But my closing statement for the criminals is like, I will tell you a bit of advice my father said. He said, crime never pays. But if you're going to commit a crime, make sure it pays a lot. So my advice is... My advice is make sure when you're about to commit your financial crime that it pays in the millions. So you can pay off the guards, possibly the inmates, so you don't get butt punched in the butt. And also make sure you can figure out an escape plan, non-extradition country. Make sure you know how to launder your money. And also make sure that the crime is a financial crime, because you'll get more of a slap on the wrist when you do a financial crime than an actual crime. Because if we learned anything, if you break into, that guy only made $100,000, and he had to break into 140 McDonald's. Think about how much work that is. The other guy literally was like,
it wasn't just McDonald's too. He went to other places and just so much. He went to McDonald's.
Yeah, I mean, like, so the thing is, when you're committing crimes, make sure it's a financial crime with no weapons. And also, you got to think smart. You got to think of like something where you scam rich people, where rich people are too like, I don't want to admit So my advice: keep to the Sigma grind set when you're doing your financial crimes, and also look for an honor.
I really hope Big Brother's not watching. Oh, there was something I wanted to say. It's off topic, but you finish what you were saying, Bilal, then I'll say it.
I'm done incriminating myself for future clips, but when I go for my prosecution, when I go to when people play the video.
I'm gonna just sit there and be like, it's in the video.
It's in the video, by the way. He actually completely admitted that he planned on doing multiple crimes.
He was
but that's the
giving
truth.
Advice to crime lords out there.
He was giving advice to future criminals. He also went through a video showing like a non-extraditional countries, and also discussed like which are the best crimes to commit. Right. That should be our next stream, the criminal stream, where we like talk about financial crimes.
Oh God, don't we do that with Elon Musk anyways?
Yeah, but he, like the thing is that. Another piece of advice my father always said, always look for the crime that is border on legal and illegal. So make sure the crime is like so close to legal that it's legal. Just like most bankers. Like most bankers like a gray area. Yeah. So like most bankers commit like hundreds of millions of dollars in scams. Like the time where like I think it was Citibank accepted drug cartel money and was laundering drug cartel money purposely. And they only had to and then they punished their customers by saying you have to show an ID now for your bank deposits for like a year. Make sure when you're like doing that kind of gray stuff, make sure you have and also make sure you're so large in amounts of money that you don't go to jail. So let's play the coming food catastrophe.
Kidding me, y'all? He's on a roll tonight. I can't. I just can't. It's fucking cracking up over here. Real quick before I start this video, I just thought of Big Brother real quick. If anybody is into RuPaul's Drag Race and you like the shows and the spin-offs and stuff and you want to show support, there is a new show coming on. And the show is yet to be released of the date. They're trying to get it up and going, and it's called Mother is I think it's called Mother is Watching or Big Mother, which we all call Mama RuPaul, Mom. Okay. And so they're basically doing like a Big Brother thing, but with drag queens. You get stuck in a house for 7 weeks, and it's kind of like the Real World, but everybody's in drag, and it looks interesting.
The real fight is who gets the bathroom.
That's gonna be the thing. You thought women were bad when it goes to y'all.
Yeah, that's gonna be the real fight. Like all these people trying to get the bathroom, get their hair done and everything. It's gonna be tough.
Back in the day when we did drag, the drag kings didn't have a table. We didn't have like the vanity setups. We were allowed to, and it wasn't just because.
Man, you are reminding me. You were reminding me of my dad, where he was like, "In my day, we used to walk 10 miles without shoes."
Right.
You people have no idea.
3 years, I'm gonna be 40. I'm just saying, but yeah, back in the day, the drag kings, they didn't have the vanities and stuff. Most likely there would have been a fight, but the queens do have a lot of makeup, and some makeup takes them 3 hours to do. So
yeah. So are you recommending that people have disguises with their crimes?
Dress in drag. Y'all go follow Trixie Mattel. She just did a makeup video.
See, Tony is giving advice too. Like that would be a very good idea.
I am, and also you look gagging as well.
Exactly. If you see a string of like robberies of people in drag, Tony.
Did you just see that instead of it's like Point Blank, but drag kings and queens?
That would be an amazing movie. Point Blank, like they remake Point Blank, but they want to make it so like to the left, they make them all in drag.
That would be, y'all. I'm just saying, I better get credit if that ever comes up. If that becomes a movie in the next couple of years, I'm gonna sue. But
And then like they get like a guy from like Texas who's like ultra like to the right, and he's like, I'm not gonna dress in drag, and they force him to join the whole thing, and he gets like an appreciation for it and everything.
that's
And he
actually
like
funny. That would be
that would be
hilarious.
that would be an amazing movie. See, Hollywood, you have to let me make the movie. Point Blank,
yeah,
Point Break 2.
It's like it's a cross between Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar, with Point Blank.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you ever seen that movie?
Point Blank?
No,
let me just.
no, not you. I mean Tu Wong Fu, Thanks for Everything, Julie Newmar.
No, I have not.
Oh,
My favorite movie.
there's Luna.
Hi, Luna. So, what do you think of my
Tu Wong
idea
Fu.
for? What do you think of my idea of a movie where it's like it's Point Break, they're all in drag, and like they're the gang, they dress up in drag to cover up their identities. You don't know if they're men or women. You don't know. They're in drag, and then basically they have to like get into the community, and they get like a guy from Texas.
It's like an early 2000s Maury Povich show, and they're like, is it a male or is it a lady?
That movie would be the most hated movie in the world. I could just imagine like both left and right just hating. Like the left would be like, "You're making fun of us," and the right would be like, "You for doing this movie." It'd be the most hated movie in the world, probably.
Have you ever seen the movie Blubberella?
Blubberella. Holy crap!
It's supposed to be that vampire girl blood. So it's like a mock movie of an actual movie, but it's called Blubberella. Gay people like to make fun of each other. I make fun of myself.
Like the fat, like when the woman was like, "Oh, I know what you're talking about," the overweight vampire woman.
Yeah, Blubberella.
Okay, I think I saw that like once, and you just reminded me, and I googled it, and I was
Yeah.
like, "Okay, let me see."
Willem Bile, I think his last name is Belial. Willem Belli, that's it. He's in it, and he is a very world famous drag queen.
Yeah, I'm probably I think I've seen this movie a while ago.
It's one of those, it's so bad, it's good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But to answer Sooth Mom's question about like what your dad has a lot of advice about how to be a criminal. Basically, my dad used to watch a lot of criminals because what happened was his uncle used to be like his uncle used to be in the mob, like his uncle and his mom. I'm not gonna name the mobsters, but he was very, very like you can find articles on him. And that's the situation. And he always had an infatuation with like criminals. He never became a criminal because what happened was he was dumb enough to rob tires from a dealership. And he didn't want to rob tires from poor people. He robbed it from a dealership and he got caught immediately. And then the guy took him in the drive, his uncle, and then told him, well, he was, he was trying to press the uncle. He thought he would be brought into the mob family by proving himself by stealing tires. He was a dumb kid. Anyway, he's driving the car, and then when he's in the car, he's trying to impress the uncle, and the uncle's like, stops the car, turns around to him, looks at him dead face in the eyes, and says, "If you ever commit another crime, I'm gonna fucking kill you." And he meant it. He absolutely meant it, and because he was, let's say, he was the type of person that took care of problems. That's the type of person he was. He was very, very creepy person. A lot of people, let's say, disappeared when he was told. So that's why he never committed crimes. He just watched them. So, and his uncle didn't want him to be in a life of crime because being a mafia guy, if you watch most of the shows, it's really a shitty you make less money than working at McDonald's when you first start off. It really sucks. You don't really make money until you move really up, and you have to really get a scam going. It's a really shitty life. But that's why he watched all the things about crime. So that's the thing. But anyway. Side tangent.
Nothing can be held against Lyle.
Yeah.
No, but that's, I mean, you hear stories like that, and it's actually really cool.
Yeah, like he saw, like when he was a kid, he saw Carlo Gambino in a funeral, and it was the most funniest thing in the world. And I don't mind telling this on the internet. Basically, he was a kid, he was in a funeral, and he saw Carlo Gambino sitting in a chair. And he was basically like in a regular old suit. Like literally the old suit. Didn't wear any jewelry, in a suit, and he didn't know he was Carlo Gambino at the time. And he just had a lot of people just walk up to this old guy, and everyone else was dressed to the hilt with like fancy suits and everything, jewelry, and this old guy literally had nothing. I mean, like I think I saw a documentary about Carlo Gambino, and he only had like a license plate that was personalized, and that was it. He lived in the same house. Wow. And basically, what happened was. Yeah, he's lived in the same house as when he first came to him, like when he came to America. He didn't spend his money on anything. He was very close. Carlo Gambino was very smart. Like literally, like he would not, if he wanted someone killed, he would just like move his head up and down. He would use no words. He would not say anything. He would just suppose that he's being recorded constantly. That's why they never caught him his ass, because he was very careful. But anyway, what happened was he saw him in the funeral, and when he was in the car back, he said, "Who brought that grandpa?" And the car became dead silent. He just said like Carlo Gambino was like grandpa. He like insulted like the fucking mob king.
And he walked away with it?
Well, he was a kid at the time, and
yeah,
it wasn't
true.
like, and it wasn't in front of the mobster. He was like in the car with a bunch of his other relatives to the, to the funeral site. He visited a lot of funerals, especially, and the reason why I like that, so that's he saw Carlo Gambino personally, and it was like the funniest story you'll ever hear. But yeah, my uncle, to Sooth Moms is like, that's good that his uncle protected him from that. Yeah, his uncle was don't get it wrong, his uncle, like, I heard stories like 30 people he got rid of, let's just say, to the afterlife. And he was a constant gambler, and he was kind of a psychopath. Like, if you bumped into him, he would get rid of you. And he eventually died in prison. And the creepiest thing happened to him, his uncle, when he died in prison. When he was burying him, like, there was, like, suddenly, towards the end of the funeral, there was a bunch of crows that just stood there and just stared at his casket. And like, he's saying, like, there was, like, 100 crows. And as soon as they buried him, they just started, like, croaking and just flying away. It was the most creepiest thing he said he ever saw.
You remind me of that. Have you seen that weird video with the seagulls? And they just all disappeared at once. They were all flying. And the man had his arms out. It's random, unrelated, really unrelated. He had his arms up. And everybody was watching all the seagulls, and then he put his arms down, and they all disappeared. Like, they were missing. Like, I don't know, unrelated, unfucking related, but it just...
But yeah, I mean, like, I actually have the article about him, but yeah, he was actually, I think he was in Goodfellas, actually. Not the main character, but he was, like, in one of the back mafia people.
Good movie. Good movie. Just to let everybody know, all the Godfather movies are on Paramount Plus. And I have been watching the hell out of them. So good. I love those movies.
Yeah. But anyway, on the side tangent, let's go about how the food crisis is happening.
I don't think we have time.
Oh, we can play like this movie quickly. It's like 10 minutes. We'll play into it.
Okay, hold on. Is he doing an ad at the beginning or anything? Can I skip it?
Yeah, skipped a little bit of the beginning.
Okay, hold on a second. Now, the credit goes to Patrick Boyle. Again, he's very deadpan, but he's very smart. Dry humor, but he's very smart. So I'm at 16 seconds where they start pulling up the numbers. I'm at 60 seconds. Are you ready? Or do you?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready.
I don't want to rush you. Okay, pressing play now.
Security of a vital commodity, both for India and for other vulnerable countries. India is the world's second biggest wheat producer after China. Thanks in part to a bumper harvest last year, they had been able to fill the gap in markets left by decreased output from Ukraine, even as bad weather reduced the crops of the other big grain exporters. In the global food system, supply-demand problems were previously mostly down to weather and other supply-related factors. In the last few years, the global pandemic tested and in many ways proved the resilience of the global food supply system. But now with the war in Ukraine, we're seeing severe problems in the global food supply chain, and it's difficult to predict the medium or long-term implications. These new issues are occurring on top of an already tight but at least functional food supply chain. Before the war in Ukraine, food prices had already risen 18% over the pandemic. Globally, there are 6 breadbasket countries that together supply roughly 2/3 of global agricultural commodities. Ukraine has long been one of the most important of these countries, producing food not just for its own population, but for people around the world. Additionally, Ukraine produces a lot of fertilizer. 57% of the land in Ukraine was used for growing crops in 2019, making it one of the most highly cultivated countries in the world. By comparison, in the same year, the United States actively used 17% of its land for cultivation. Ukraine accounts for 30% of the world's supply of sunflower oil, widely used in food production, and grows 4% of the world's wheat. While 4% may not sound like a huge number, the fact that they produce much more than they consume means that Ukraine accounts for around 10% of global wheat exports, 13% of corn exports, and is the world's largest producer of sunflower oil. Normally, the country exports 40 million to 50 million tons of cereals every year, but Russia's invasion meant export volumes in March were a quarter of those in February. The black soil in Ukraine is unusually fertile. Its farmland is cheaper to run than that in Europe and the United States. The country has deep seaports that give it easy access to international markets. This combination has allowed Ukraine to become a key exporter
stop
of
it before
agricultural
China.
commodities.
I don't know when China's coming, so I press pause.
Yeah, so basically the whole Ukraine invasion fucked up the food prices so far.
Hey, puppy.
And now you're going to hear, we could probably skip the China part, but I'll just explain the China part. The China part basically says that because of the lockdowns we've been seeing, none of the farmers can actually farm food. Like, they can't put anything in the ground. So, and they also stopped exporting, like, food, and it's like the third or fourth largest exporter of food. China. So that's the crazy thing about that so far.
You want to say hi to Uncle Belial as I lose my voice? Want to say hi to
All right.
Sorry, my cat came in and I had to give him love and I haven't seen it.
I see. And then Sweet Mom says, I needs to buy seeds still. My garden is never going to be ready this year. And I did, however, buy 3 boxes of rice, so I will not starve for a couple of days at least. Yeah, like the prices are going to be pretty bad. Because it's going to take 2 years for everything to recover. That's the problem. India's had a lot of issues, so everything's going to probably take 2 years.
I'm going this week to get myself a big thing of rice and a
Might have to do a victory garden, like the old World War II days where one had to have a victory garden.
I'm sure whenever the garden gets going, it's going to be beautiful.
So, let's jump to how big is the shortage at 5 minutes?
5 minutes, yes, sir. Going there. 5 minutes and 1 second. That's the best I could do. Okay, excuse me, y'all. I'm sorry. Pressing play now.
Food to eat. Right now, we don't know how long the conflict will last in Ukraine, but between 19 million and 34 million tons of export production could disappear this year. Next year, depending on the situation in Ukraine, the figure could be between 10 million and 43 million tons. That translates into the necessary caloric intake for 60 million to 150 million people. Apart from the obvious issues of people going hungry, a reduction in food supply means that prices can be expected to rise, and these higher prices will affect an even broader range of the world's population, well beyond 150 million people. Another problem the world is facing is a shortage of the ingredients that go into synthetic fertilizers, which in some cases have tripled in price since the start of the pandemic. Several problems contribute to this shortage, including the Russian invasion of Ukraine, supply chain issues caused by storms, and high natural gas prices. For the first time ever, farmers the world over, all at once, are testing the limits of how little fertilizer they can apply without devastating farm yields come harvest time. The nitrogen used in most synthetic fertilizers is made by combining the nitrogen in the air with hydrogen in methane to produce ammonia, which is then used to create other forms of nitrogen, including ammonium nitrate and urea. Natural gas is used in this process both to provide the methane needed and as a heat source for the reaction. Higher natural gas prices mean more expensive fertilizer. Potash, traded in Vancouver, has almost tripled in price since the start of the war in Ukraine. This is good for Canada, which is the largest producer of potash in the world, but bad for farmers and bad for food prices. Russia and Belarus are the number 2 and 3 producers of potash in the world. Reduced grain exports from Ukraine
stop it now.
particularly...
Okay, paused it.
So basically, all all this stuff is basically increasing the price. The fertilizer, so like that's how it's going to affect America. Basically, we need that material, like the fertilizer from Ukraine, to help us with our farms, and it's going to increase the prices now, like farmland in the United States, like farming in the United States as well.
Well,
Basically, yeah.
So is it more or less the fertilizer that's specially bought for the farming industries here in America, or does this mean when you go to your local Walmart for fertilizer, the price could go up?
For the farming of food, because we don't rotate. I don't think we rotate crops like we used to.
Okay, because I know the fertilizer we get is not the grade that farmers get. That's all I know.
Yeah, I mean, like I think people did like a lot more rotating of crops, and that's why we don't really do it too much, because it's not really profitability, but it is. But it's mostly we use fertilizer to like avoid that.
It's the domino effect. We talked about this, I think, a week after Russia first invaded Ukraine. I knew we talked about it for a little bit, that the grain prices were going to go up, and productivity is going down because farmers are literally battling in this war right now. So obviously they're stealing tanks, not plowing the farm. You know what I mean? So
yeah, and also I'm just reading the soup. I watch people on Survivor live on like half a seashell of rice 2 times a day for a month. So I am already half prepped to survive.
That's torture, though. That's
but those people are like dying. Do you ever see those people like lose a ton of weight? They're literally dying. Also, white rice. Technically, white rice is actually not nutritionally good in comparison to brown rice. Because when white rice was when the idea of white rice was done in China, I think, a lot of rich people would just eat white rice, and the poor people would eat brown rice. But what happened was all the rich people started dying from malnutrition and the poor people were living because white rice, when you skin it, it removes all the a lot of the nutritional value, and they found that out when white rice. So they might die if you ate only white rice without any other food next to it.
Those shows do, like, I've never seen Survivor, but I have seen Naked and Afraid. I thought that was more entertaining because why would you sleep naked with a bunch of bugs everywhere? I just thought it was fun.
Yeah.
But
and also
they do a weigh-in. They, like, at the beginning, they're like, Julie only weighs 150 pounds. And then at the end, they're like, Julie weighs only 100 pounds. And I'm kind of like, that is not right. That's It's weird.
Yeah, and then she says, I'm just gonna say it. This guy looks like he is a cyborg. He's British. He's the proper Queen British. He's not like Frank, where Frank is actually like human. This guy is like the Queen's British type of thing.
Yeah. He has beautiful eyes, though. I was noticing that at the beginning when he was paused. I was like, he has the most beautiful blue eyes. He's just great.
Better to hypnotize you with bring like only a robot. Maybe that's why she thinks he's a robot, because of the blue eyes. Like clearly they're too blue.
I'm telling y'all, watch the blue eyes when I press play again. They're very beautiful blue eyes. But,
exactly. But yeah, this guy is a huge like fund manager. He's like worth like tens of billions of dollars. Like he's really rich. So, just saying.
And he has a Patreon as well.
Well, you gotta get as much money as you can. Why not?
I was debating getting an OnlyFans, then I remembered.
Oh God,
I'm
no.
ugly.
Well, Nikocado Avocado has OnlyFans, and people pay for that.
I wonder what he
strangely.
does on that.
I saw one person review Nikocado. If anyone knows, Nikocado Avocado is a guy that eats large amounts of food and is happy that he's like 400 pounds
really nice.
In front of a camera. And he had, like, someone actually bought his OnlyFans and they like threw up because it was so nasty on the stream. Like literally, like everyone that saw it threw up. And I was like, I am not searing that image in my mind. I will never see, because that's why I'm like, avoid anything on Twitter that says Nikocado Avocado only. I would not even Google it. I don't want to see anything.
Oh, look who's live right now.
Oh, who's live?
You're gonna see on the. Are you watching the stream? Look who's live.
No problem. We'll talk later. So.
Tesla.
Oh, Elon Musk.
No. Yeah, look who's live.
No, that's actually. That's probably a scam account, because a lot of the times, like, I'm serious, that's probably a scam. Because a lot of times.
Click it now.
No. What happens is a lot of people use Elon Musk or ARK investment to trick people to buy bitcoins and stuff on YouTube. So you see that a lot.
Bitcoins and Ethereum merge incoming.
Yeah, basically, it's just a scam. It's probably not Elon Musk.
I'm gonna have to click that after this live and see. I just like to see it. I've seen people use like pre-recorded Instagram Snoop Dogg shit and use it to make money. I've seen it, so I don't doubt that it's a scam. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's jump to 947.
947.
Yeah. Basically, he was going to say about like how Egypt gets his, is gonna suffer shortages. Africa is going to suffer shortages. India is not allowing any of their grains to be exported now because of the bad crops. China is the largest holder of grain because they've been like storing it. But honestly, I'm like probably not, because they probably lied about the numbers. My guess, and they might not even have it. Like if any numbers you get from China, just half the numbers every time. If they say 10 million, make it like 5 million. Because they always, that's always, except for COVID, yeah, 5 times it with COVID cases. But yeah, that's the situation. So yeah, it's like everyone's closing borders when it comes to food. So let's go to that time, play the food shortage and play.
9 minutes and 47 seconds, and pressing play now.
Eat them. This could result in significant problems in global food availability. The most recent period in history where we saw similar spikes in food prices was in 2007 and the first half of 2008. World prices for rice rose by 217%, wheat by 136%, corn by 125%, and soybeans by 107% over that period. The price rises brought about protests and riots in parts of Asia and Africa. High food prices are likely to cause government interventions, which can sometimes only add to the problem. Things like food export bans can reduce a farmer's profitability, leaving him underfunded to plant a larger crop for the next season. If you're interested in backtesting investment strategies using agricultural commodities as an input, it's easy to do using Composer.
You could jump this part.
Video sponsor.
You could jump to
Composer
solutions.
is an amazing website that allows investors who aren't.
That's a sponsorship.
coders.
By the way,
Now,
I watched the sponsorship twice thing, so.
Okay, so I skipped it to 12 minutes and 11 seconds past the sponsorship.
Yeah, okay, go.
Very nice of him to timestamp everything, though, I noticed.
Yeah. No, this guy's a very nice guy, very smart, and he's not a scammer or anything.
Look at them eyes.
And you trust those eyes? Those eyes that are peering into your soul?
The eyes are beautiful, but you're just like, oh, you're dead behind those eyes. Like you're
Like,
like,
this might be the last time you'll ever be seen alive by people.
I mean, look, even the look, I'm just like, huh. But beautiful eyes, very smart man.
Supermom says it might actually be him, though. Yeah, it might be. I mean, like, the problem I don't think it is, because he's like, when he got into Bitcoin, he was like, Bitcoin's going to be the future. And then literally when he bought all the Bitcoin, and when the price started getting too high, he was like, I'm selling all my Bitcoin because the electric prices are too much, and it's not. Elon Musk, and it's not environmentally friendly. And then crypto crashed, but he still held on to his crypto. So, and then he started selling off.
He's the biggest stock market troll out there.
Yeah, it's so that's the situation. That's why I think it might not be him. But so let's continue at
12 minutes and 11 seconds. I'm at.
Yeah, go.
Okay, pressing play now.
History, people have argued that the world is running out of food and resources, and that's not the argument that I'm making, but it does appear that there might be quite a squeeze in the near term. It's probably reasonable to expect higher food prices if supplies remain constricted. There are fortunately a number of ways that these problems can be dealt with should they last longer than expected. While US corn farming is highly productive and typical yields fall between 140 and 160 bushels of corn per acre, unfortunately the food derived from all of that farming activity is considerably lower. The corn crop in the United States is mostly used for biofuels and animal feed. Around 40% of US corn is used to make ethanol for use as fuel. The average Iowa cornfield has the potential to deliver more than 15 million calories per acre each year, which is enough to sustain 15 people per acre if we ate all of the corn ourselves. But with the current allocation of corn to ethanol and animal production, we end up with an estimated 3 million calories of food per acre per year, mainly as dairy and meat products, which is enough to sustain only 3 people per acre per year. That's lower than the average delivery of food calories from farms in Bangladesh, Egypt, and Vietnam. The environmental credentials of using corn-derived ethanol as a fuel are being questioned right now. Dr. Tyler Lark from the University of Wisconsin did a study that found that ethanol is likely at least 24% more carbon intensive than gasoline due to emissions resulting from land use changes to grow corn, along with processing and combustion. To be clear, some of the ethanol that is produced for fuel use is derived from other non-edible plant materials. An explosion of farming technology in the 1960s, known as the Green Revolution, raised agricultural output significantly. Today, further innovation could make a huge contribution to more secure and sustainable food production. Green technologies, biotech advances, and artificial intelligence could improve farming efficiency, reduce waste, and safeguard ocean resources. AI and modern sensors can be used to help food processors sort better, reducing food waste
Stop it for a moment.
and making better.
Pausing. Grapes.
Yeah, and then basically, it's like ethanol is like it's one of those environmental scams. Like basically, they're like, oh, ethanol will be the new fuel source. We don't have to worry about gasoline. It's like, bro, oil is still like gasoline is still better than ethanol. Ethanol is horrible in comparison to that. Also, like what you need. It's like I don't know why that people are so against just having a nuclear power plant. Can we just all have a nuclear power plant, please?
Well, there a lot of things could factor into having too many.
And then Sleuth Mom said, yeah, I mean, like, I don't think you need too many nuclear power. You just probably need like one in like for a city. So, like, and then she says, I'm gonna. It might actually be him though. And then Sleuth Mom says they are talking about turning the power plant near me into a crypto mine. I really don't understand how you mine fictional money.
But I will explain it to you.
Yeah, it becomes it's like proof of stake and proof of work, and proof of. So basically, it's your like. I used to know this like the back of my hand, but I stopped really caring too much. But basically, it's like all the computers combined to basically prove that the transactions are actually accurate. Like all the computers are working together, and there's no way to actually like manipulate the amount, like the calculations on the chain, the blockchain, I guess. So basically, think of it as just a bunch of computers acting as like your bank processing fees, processing transactions, but they're all working together. And basically, the more they're doing it, then they get paid a crypto coin, basically. And the early days you used to get a lot because it was a lot easier to do the calculations. But as time goes on, they make the calculations harder and harder to process. Thus, you get less and less crypto coins, and thus you need a better like graphics cards, CPUs to actually process it. And you need like a ton of like CPUs, graphics cards, and energy. Like, and also you need to cool it. So a lot of places down to like Alaska are really cold places, so they wouldn't have to pay for air conditioning for the units and like cheap power, basically.
There's some people in our country that literally renovate their house and put it in their basement because it's cooler there, and they have like an air system. And they have their own like little mining area. I just don't understand why people would actually like. We are like energy is such an important process, like in the United States, and we're just so ass backwards when it comes to actually understanding how to fix things. Like, for instance, like solar panels, you need materials from Africa to be mined by guys with their hands. It's the most pollutive stuff, and there's only like one. If you literally pulled out all the materials to create solar panels, you wouldn't have enough for one like for the world. You wouldn't have enough to power even 1/4 of the world. Okay, it's not even logical. That's why I say like if you want people to have electric cars, just get nuclear power plants. Then you get electric cars and you remove gasoline. Simple as that. It really is that simple. Unless you get fusion power. Doesn't that gonna fuck with nature? Isn't that what our problem is right now?
Well, no, it's like we've advanced in nuclear technology. Like France has a nuclear power plant. I mean, like you just advance in technology, and the best thing would be fusion technology, and that would be like the holy grail, like fusion technology, literally creating a miniature sun
Is it
that
less
would power.
chemical? Is it less chemical into the
Well, the
air and
issue
stuff?
the issue with the power plant is basically is like the water that the water gets contaminated. Basically, that's how you cool the rods,
Yeah.
and you have to actually store it in a salt mine, and that's how you dispose of it properly. But in comparison to oil and solar panels and all this other stuff, it's the most efficient and most environmentally friendly option we have. But people are so afraid of because of Chernobyl and because of Three Island fire. I think it was Three
We
Island.
all had a panic attack a month or so ago when that nuclear power plant in all the way in the Ukraine, because it could have affected us too as well.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying like a well-built power plant. Like Russia just has, they did not have well-built power plants. But a well-built power plant would be very good, and it would probably be the only way that you'd get electric cars to everyone, because that would be the only way to actually fill them up, basically.
I'm down for us as humans to advance, to do better things. I'm just not down for taking away, like, we've noticed such a change in climate, and I know it's a big thing, and like the weather's changing, the winters are a lot more colder.
I mean, like,
it's getting
yeah.
bad, and
I mean, I'm not saying like nuclear power is like the best thing in the world, but it's like it's better than what we have. It's better than oil. It's better than solar. It's better than wind. It's more environmentally clean than all of them, and it's better than coal, and it's more efficient. It's like the only way that's really going to be done. I mean, it's just how it is.
I'm the type of person I'd rather have my cake and eat it too. I want to see both things happen. I don't want to see anything screwing with the planet than we already are.
Yeah, and that's the only thing.
I do want it to be a little bit more accessible and cheaper. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
and I think that would be cheaper if we did that. The only thing is that nuclear power has a very big stigma to it that people are afraid that it's going to like destroy the world, and it's like we're already destroying the world with the fossil fuels. We're already destroying the world with coal. We're already destroying the world with ethanol.
We're
We're doing
destroying
it.
the world by just being us. Did you hear about the
Yeah.
smallpox breakout now?
Yeah, well, that's fun.
Yeah.
Well, ending the stream on a high note. I think this is the time to end. You can watch the whole video, but that's basically the video.
Yeah, there's only a couple minutes left of it. 2 minutes left.
Then it says, we all have seen The Simpsons and what happens if a nuclear plant goes. Just saying. Yeah, a nuclear plant going is a bad thing. But I think there's a lot of safety elements in a well-built nuclear power plants. And, that's what I'm just saying. Like, if you're talking about, like, badly built nuclear power plants, it is. But it's like we have to get realistic. The solar panels are run by China. The materials, there's not enough materials to make enough of them to power everything. And it's just not improved enough technology. And wind is just a joke. Wind is an absolute joke. Literally, you have to attach a coal plant to a wind factory because the wind starts slowing down, and you need the coal factory to actually maintain the power levels. Like the best documentary I saw, one of the best documentary by who is that? Now I'm trying to remember. Michael Moore, the guy. Was it Michael Moore's?
Didn't he do Fahrenheit?
Yeah, Fahrenheit. Yeah, he did an environmental documentary, and he went to locations. Michael Moore's environment just.
There's a lot of Sleuth Mama. If you're watching, do you see all like the Tesla Live? There's so many of them.
Yeah, probably because he's saying some stupid thing. Maybe he probably did. So yeah, you can go watch The Planet of the Humans by Michael Moore, and he visits the sites because, like, when you build the Wilton factory, you have to clear the forest, and you have to build a coal factory. They consider burning wood as renewable energy, just to get government contracts. And it's like this whole grift about renewable energy, and no one really wants to say, hey, maybe we should realistically just build nuclear power plants and actually. And if we want to build power like electric cars, maybe we should, figure out how do we power all these electric cars.
Yeah.
Because like the batteries that hold the solar panels, there's not enough lithium in the world to do it. It's just not logical.
Besides Tesla, who else makes battery-operated cars?
Well, all the car manufacturers make battery-operated cars.
Well, I mean.
But they make way more. Yeah, they all make them.
They all do? Okay, I thought
Yeah, they all do. It's like all of them are just they even produce more than Tesla in cars. they've already slowly started catching up to him, actually. So that's why he's just jumping onto the next grift, because he's worried about it, because he's not producing enough cars, basically. So it is what it is. You know, it is what it is. And he says, I agree. Thank you guys for extending your stream. Tony, I hope everything goes well.
Thank you. Thank you. I will be.
All right. All right. So I guess you'll see we'll close it up now.
Yeah, we're going to close it up now. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and everybody who rewatches. I really do appreciate it. We both do. And, you know, this was actually, we're having really good show. I love this. I love this new format that we have. No drama, no bullshit. I love it.
Yeah, We'll figure something out next on Monday. It's our next stream.
Yes.
And we'll figure something new. Maybe go back to conspiracy. Depends if, like, some sort of breaking news happens. If something, like, extreme happens, we'll change to that. But we might go to conspiracy, maybe.
That is a big if, though, on Monday. It depends on how Friday goes. But
Yeah.
I have a feeling we will be here on Monday. But this Friday, there is no stream. I do apologize for that. But Monday, I think most likely there will be.
We could do the stream, but Tony would be in sign language. He would have to put the video on. He would just have to do sign language for the whole stream. It'd be a very fine stream.
Cotton balls all in my mouth and I would do that. I would do that hands down. But I don't know sign language. I know some sign language, but it's nothing anybody would like to see.
All right, guys, you have a good one. See you maybe Monday, maybe Tuesday. We'll see what the situation is.
Yes, I will update everybody on the Zero to Manic 3.0 page. I've been posting there a lot more. It's the backup page. We're trying to get out of the red with the main page, but we're doing good. Except, you know, what's that? What was that? What's Inside kind of backtracked us a bit. So, but I will be starting to post there a lot more. Please follow both pages to get updates and, you know, everything that's going on. And again, y'all, thank you. I appreciate every single one of you. And
all right.
Yeah, that's it.